Hello everybody, welcome to the birthday stream. On this episode of Ghostbusters, they find the ghost. They get the ghost. Ghost no more. Bad ghost. Bad. Huh. On this episode of Ghost Hunters, they give the ghost a mean talking to. You can't be scaring people, Mr. Ghost. Stern talking to. You heard me right. Teaching the ghost not to scare. That's right. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You know what I mean? What's going on? Did something happen? Did I get a good donation already, or is that just old? That might just be old. Yeah, that's old. That was old. Let's just test it, though. Where is it? Why don't I see the donation notification? Nobody knows. Come on. There we go. Ha! What's up, T-Bone? I was just replaying your last donation so that I can make sure everything's in the right spot. That's good. Bum, 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 bum. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Do you like the cake? I got cake. Guy was hogging it right now, but I got cake for you guys. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, that's right. I'm stealing your money. That's right. You got me. You got me, dude. You know what I do. Tick, tick. That could be a touch louder, I think. Well, everything's kind of quiet, actually. That was the birthday? Drunk stream or no? No, no drunk stream. I don't need to get drunk. I don't need to get drunk. Drunk is for loser. Oh shit. I'm Vortel. Thank you for the $5 donation. He says... Pretend this $5 came in a cheesy birthday card. Been loving your stuff since no RNG minute runs. Yo, that's awesome that you've been following for that long. Awesome. Glad to have you here, man. Glad you moved over to YouTube with me. I appreciate you. This is gonna fall. I guarantee it's gonna fall if I don't do something about it this second. The boy got Megamorph on the first. What a fucking cheater. Was his name Mergy by chance? Gotta reset again. I might have to reset 2 times now. Ah, fuck. I need to turn on FDS, and I need to make sure it stays on. So. Oh, fuck, it was already on, mate. Well, now I have to turn it on again. I have to turn on FDS again as soon as I see that white hot screen. Ooh, baby, there it is. What do you guys think? Glass of wine or no? I'm gonna go with I don't know. Part of me kind of wants one. No, I'm gonna end up spilling it. I'm gonna end up spilling it on my nice white dress shirt. Alright, let's go. Vape! Oh my god! Oh, it's in my car! My car, guys. Well, I have to get the vape. See, the thing with the vape is there's no record without vape. They're one and the same. You get the record, you vaped in it. You didn't get the record, you might have vaped in it, right? But the bottom line is, if it's a record, all records have vape in it, but not all vape has record, right? Every time I've gotten a record, there's been vaping in the video, but I haven't gotten a record every time I vaped, obviously. So we gotta go get it. We have to go get it. I mean, there's just nothing. There's nothing I can do about it, guys. I'm sorry. It's out in my car, so I'll be back in like a minute, if that, maybe like 30 seconds. Oh shit. I forgot. It's dark. Alexa, turn on the lights in the hallway. Alexa, turn on the lights in the living room. That's why we pay the big bucks, ladies and gents. Let's go. Vape obtained! It's happening! Okay. If I nut when he gets world record, will I live forever? Absolutely. That's right. He understands. 1 minute is more like 30. Yep. Wait a second. Yeah. You've definitely been around for long enough. Not sponsored by Amazon Alexa. Yeah. No, I really just ran outside. It's dark out though, so like it's kind of creepy running outside like that. But it's okay, we got it. Oh yeah, baby. All right, let's go. Welcome to autism. May I take your 23rd chromosome, sir? I cut my nails. And it makes smashing start so much easier. Like the way I mash start, I'll show you during the cutscene. So the way I mash the start button is I kind of, when I'm holding it, I do it like this. So like pretty much not holding it like this, but my thumb is hitting it like this. So my nail is pretty much digging into the start button. That's why there's like an indentation in the start button. But the longer my nails are, the harder it is to do, and I just cut them today, and it's like so much easier now. I need to turn up the volume on everything after this attempt. First try, boys! Birthday God. Birthday God. Oh, that's too loud. That should be good right there. Nice hair. My hair is always like this, Toddy. Toddy boy. My hair's always like this. Dude, first fucking try. Toddy. I'm gonna call you Toddy from now on. My boy Toddy. Oh, my hands feel really good today for this. Like, they feel really nice for it. I don't have anything to do tomorrow either, so guess what? Well, tomorrow night I do, but I'm just going out with Carly tomorrow night for my birthday. Nice, and it's 7-Eleven. Oh, I love it. Yeah, but I don't really have anything going on for most of my day tomorrow. So guess what I'm gonna be doing? Can you guess? It's gonna be pretty similar to what I'm doing now, except the exact same thing. You really have to place an engine, You really have to play dinner. Megamorph it. Oh, you fucking cuck. You fucking asshole, dude. There's nothing I could do about that. Sometimes you just get an easy mode when you don't want one. First try, shatter. Whoa, 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 whoa. So, while I have everybody here, what game do you think I should do after this tonight? I'm thinking more Resident Evil 5 so I could finish it up. What do you guys think? Thank you for the happy birthday, Negro. Appreciate you, dude. This? Okay, so my chair came with this. What this is it is an actual ass pillow. That's all it is. It's an ass pillow. An ass pillow. Okay, that's all it is. Soft. Really nice. But it just feels wrong. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Negro. I meant to say nego. Oh, that was so weird. I would be really surprised if that works. I'd be really surprised. Okay. Wow, actually. So it didn't work, but I got one of the frames where it's like not really my fault that it didn't work. So I actually did everything right there. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Not Fortnite. Thanks for the happy birthday, Nope. Thanks for the happy birthday, Tara Kirby. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm 21 today. That's for my low back, really? I thought it was an ass pillow. That's where it came. When I first got the chair, that's where it was. And it doesn't have a strap either, so I don't know where the fuck it's supposed to go. Maybe like every time you sit, you have to pick it up and put it in there. That's annoying. Well, let's see. I think I see. This feels interesting. This feels even more annoying, actually. Alright, this was the warm-up run, that's all. Just a warm-up. Alright, that was a warm-up run, that's all. Yeah, honest to God, it's just all annoying. Even this too. Well, I mean, this is for your head, obviously, because it has a strap on it. But like, I'm never sitting on my chair leaning back anyway. Most of the time, I'm like, you know, when I'm doing this anyway, I'm like this, you know. So it's easier to just have nothing on there. Alright, now I'm ready. Didn't vape enough? That could have been it. I don't want to get fucking nicotine poisoning during the run. Shit. Thanks for the happy birthday, Felipe. Appreciate you. I gotta tweet out the link. I forgot about tweeting out the link. You thought I was mergy? No, I don't cheat when I play this game. LOL! LOL! It's true, though. No, as far as this game is concerned, I do not want to be mergy. I'm fine with him in every other section of life, but in this one, I don't want to be him. I'd rather be me. Actually, there's no one. As far as FM is concerned, there's no one I'd rather be. Fuck. Double fuck. Gotta get in the rhythm, boy. And a zero and a bam. That was early. Maybe. I don't know. Could be. Hell yeah, T-Quick. Thank you, man. He cheated at a speedrun event? No, he cheated, like, his speedruns, not at any event. Mergy didn't cheat at any event. He just cheated. Like, repeatedly. Like, world records. He cheated records, right? When he had the world record in this game, like the most recent record he had, he cheated to get it. He was playing on a modified game for a while. We don't know how long. But for some amount of time, Mergy was playing on a modified game. And we know that at the very least it included his world record. His world record. But I have to thank him, because if it wasn't for him, the best part is that when he got the record, I was like, wow, that's a really good time. Well, I have to beat it. And guess what? I beat it. I beat his cheated time. Right? And then he got called out as a cheater, and, you know, it's like, okay, whatever. You don't even have the record anymore. I beat you legitimately, and then you got called out cheating. How great is that? Spear Flame? Do I remember you? The name kind of rings a bell. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's bad. I'm just gonna reset on that. I'm not gonna try it. The name rings kind of a bell. How did we find out? It's very complicated, but pretty much right around the time he cheated is right around the time a lot of research was going into this category. And once we figured out how this category works, we also were able to, as of right now, we know methods to look at speedruns of this game and tell whether or not they're cheated. And I can get into why in a second. So, I'm trying to think. So, no, there's no audio skip. So, do you guys know how we can... You know how I manipulate to win MBDs, right? Let's start there, right? So, as of right now, I can manipulate the game to drop Meteor B Dragon, provided I have the right deck and everything, right? But what that means is that I can figure out what card you should win, right? So, if I go back and I watch somebody's run, right? And I say, okay, in that run, they had these cards, and they entered the duel on this frame, which you can calculate what frame they entered the duel on based on their draw, right? So, pretty much what we do is we find out what card they should have won, right? So what we did with Mergy is they figured out, okay, given what deck he has, given what frame he entered the duel on, and given the movements he did within the duel. So let's say, if you enter a duel against Isis, right, and you have this list of 40 cards in your deck, right, and you enter on frame 100, and you do 2 fusions throughout the duel, and you win on turn 3, then you should win Dragon Treasure every single time, right? Let's say you should win Dragon Treasure, right, if you do all those things. So what we did was we went back in his run, and we said, okay, so we tested it, and we said, okay, well, he had this many cards, he had these cards, he did this stuff throughout the duel, he did 2 fusions here, he won on whatever turn, and he entered the duel on this frame. So, Mergy should have won this card. And what we did was we compared that to the card that he did win, and there were inconsistencies. So, there were times where he should have won a different card, but he won another one instead. And that tells us that he modified the game to make cards drop it at times that they shouldn't, right? So again, how do we win the MBD? We win the MBD by entering the duel on a specific frame, and then playing the duel a very specific way, right? But we can reverse that process. We can move back and say, okay, if you enter so if somebody came up to me and said, GFC, what happens if I enter a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 300, and these are the 40 cards in my deck? And I do, this on turn 1, I do this on turn 2, I do this on turn 3. I can look and say, okay, you should win this card. You will win this card, 100%. And if you don't win that card that means you've cheated, right? You've changed the game, because you should win that 100% of the time. That's exactly what happened. So we went back, and every card that he won was pretty much wrong, because once you change the drop lists, now you're winning cards out of sync. Now, but that's not how we suspected him of cheating. No, the way that we suspected him of cheating, and I say we as in the community, but I wasn't really involved in this. I'm just saying this now. I was not really involved in proving him to be a cheater or not, right? I didn't know anything about how the game worked at that point for the most part. I didn't know all the stuff. But so the way we became suspicious of him in the beginning, right? Hang on. So the way we became suspicious with Mergy in the beginning was... So, like I said 3 times now, the way that we first became suspicious that he was cheating was because he won a glitch card. So, at the end of a duel against Rex, instead of it saying... You know, at the bottom left of the screen, at the bottom of the screen, it says a card number, and then it says what card you won, right? Petite Dragon, right? If it was Blue Eyes White Dragon, it would say 001, and then Blue Eyes White Dragon, right? Well, he was fighting Rex, and he won a glitch card. The glitch card was card 000, and then it was just blank, right? So, that's what sparked, okay, that's never happened to anybody before, right? Before that, it has never happened to anybody before. So there was a glitch, and trust me, we've been playing this game for years and for thousands of hours, and nobody's ever reported that it happened. So when it happened to him, it was suspicious. So we're like, okay, well, why did this happen to you and it's never happened to anybody else? There were 2 possibilities. There was the fact that a glitch just happened to him that just really hasn't happened to anybody else, or he cheated. So that's when we started looking into his stuff, obviously, because, I mean, if anybody got that, we would have looked into him. It had nothing to do with who it was. At that time, Mergy was super trusted in the community. So if it happened to me, they would have done the same thing and looked into my stuff. So when that happened, right, we're like, oh, okay, shit. You know, let's take a look into this. And what we did was, well, what people smarter than me did, I'm just saying we because it's easier. What we did is they looked into the game's code and pretty much figured out, how does this card drop? Like, is it possible for this to happen without manipulating something? And the answer we came to was pretty much no. The only way we can really make it happen is if we fuck with the disc tray. I think it's possible to win card 000 if you fuck with the disc tray at the right time. Like if you open it up in something. So that was still technically a possibility, but he said he hadn't fucked with it, which was another mistake, I guess. So at that point, everyone was pretty suspicious, but there was still, that's not concrete proof. So we didn't do anything. We didn't ban him or anything, but people continued to research into it, because there was still no solid proof, and we're not going to ban somebody from the leaderboards without solid proof. He was still denying it adamantly that he didn't do it. And then, you know, they went into the game's code, and they figured out how RNG works and how this run works. And that's when we were able to figure out that he did indeed cheat. By kind of reverse engineering, you know, what you should have won on every duel. You know, and then if that doesn't match up, you're fucked. He denied all the way to the end. It was only once the proof was presented to him that he decided to tell me privately. Like, the thing is, he never really went really public with it. He really kept to himself about it. Like, I had to explicitly ask him, like, multiple times, like, you know, we were talking about it, and he said something like, we're just gonna have to wait to see what they find. And I'm just like, well, why? You could just tell me. It's just like, he knew he cheated the whole time. That's the part that gets on my nerves. He just lied and lied and lied. And, like, he even when they were compiling proof, and he knew they were compiling proof, he still didn't say anything until that proof was 100% solid and out there. Even when the proof was 99.9% there, and they're like, dude, we know you cheated, we just have to finish up the research for the most part, he still wouldn't say that he did it. It was only until it was 100% certain that he did it, that he admitted. And when I said he admitted, like, to me, like, I had to ask him. I was trying to ask him in just a regular conversation, and he just wouldn't say it. So I had to ask him in really flat language, I remember. Like, I had to be like, did you cheat, yes or no? And then he'd be like, yes. And I'm like, finally, thank you. Thanks for the happy birthdays, everybody. After that, he stopped. Well, after that, he was banned from the leaderboards, Felipe. So as of right now, he can't submit any speedruns to the leaderboards. I mean, he cheated. He cheated runs in a game, so he's obviously not going to be allowed back on the leaderboards, right? Obviously. This is how it works. If you get caught cheating in a competitive game, you're not allowed to play that game competitively anymore. I mean, he can play it if he wants. I mean, nobody's going to his house in Germany and breaking his game discs, right? He could play it all he wants. He can stream it all he wants. He could speedrun it all he wants. But his times will never be up on the leaderboards again. It's just how it works. And it's not just because it's him. It would be anybody, you know? So when you inevitably get a glitched card, you are your own downfall. So that's another cool thing. He was his own downfall. So do you want to know the reason why he won that glitched card? It's because he did math wrong. So this is the best part. At least I believe that's why he got it. So the whole reason he won a glitched card is because you know how the card totals need to add up to 2048 in this game? So, as of right now, on every duelist, right, let's say there's 10 cards you can win. Well, the odds of winning every card, let's say it's 100 out of 2048 for one card and 200 out of 2048, right? For all the cards added up, it needs to be 2048 out of 2048. Right? If you make one small... So, when he changed the... What he did was he changed the card drops. So... For Dragon Treasure on Isis, you know how it's a 32 out of 2048? Let's say he made it to be a 100 out of 2048 instead, like 3 times the chance of winning a Dragon Treasure. And then, because of that, he had to go to other cards and make it so they drop less likely to balance it out. But at some point, against Rex, because that's who he won it off of, he did math wrong, and it didn't add up to 2048 at the end. It only added up to maybe 2047 or something. So when it only adds up to 2047, that means... You know, 2047 out of 2048 of the time, he's going to be fine and he's going to win a right drop. But that 1 out of 2048 chance of him winning a glitched card, and it happened. So yeah, that's exactly what happened. So had he not made a math error, he would have never been caught. And I can guarantee you he would have never confessed on his own accord. Again, I want to reiterate this. I literally have nothing against Mergy at this point. I mean, this was a long time ago. I'm just saying, as far as this game is concerned, obviously, I'm not going to trust him, and you know, as far as this game is concerned, he's not really in my memory for it. I don't really want him associated with this game, but as far as being a person and a friend, I'm fine with him, right? I still think he's a good guy. I think he made a mistake, but, you know, just because I think he's a good guy and I know he just made a mistake, and, you know, it still doesn't change the fact that he did it, and it's not going to let him back on the leaderboards. Now, some people might point to other communities and be like, well, this guy cheated in this other game, and he was allowed back in at some point, you know, because he said he was sorry, and time went by, and he was allowed back in. And I don't know how the rest of the community feels for FM, but I'm assuming most of them are like me in saying that I don't think once you cheat in a speed game, you should really be allowed back on the leaderboards. I just don't. I really, truthfully don't believe that you should be allowed back on it. Especially after the lying and stuff. Like, if he cheated, and then, like, right after cheating it, he didn't even wait to get called out. Like, nobody was suspicious, and he just came out and was like, guys, I'm sorry, but I cheated this. Like, his own conscience got to him. Then maybe one day, but if you, like, if you lie about it for weeks and stuff, you're just not going to be trusted again. That's just how it is with me. Yeah, that's not an auto-clicker. That's me. Long-time viewer and sub, first time catching a live stream. Happy birthday, dude. Hope you smash that world record. I can't wait. I hope I do smash my own record today. That would be cool. If not, no big deal, because we still have it. Could you maximize this run by beating Haishin and campaign right away 3 times and get an MBD before you reset? Yes, it's possible. Even with Darkfield, it is still technically possible. It could be done. But the thing with that is everything... The reason we don't do it is because all of this that I'm doing right now would have to be frame perfect. So you know how getting the deck is frame perfect? Well, then I would need to skip all of this text, right? You would have to forego the deck check, right? So you know how I go and I check the deck to make sure I got it before moving on? Well, we wouldn't be able to do that anymore, right? Because all of this would have to be played frame perfectly in order to do it. So if we wanted to do a deck check, it would have to be a frame perfect deck check. Then we'd have to go back. We'd have to go through all that dialogue, and it would have to be frame perfect, right? So that's not going to happen, obviously. Even without a deck check, you would still have to go through a lot of options and stuff, and it would just be insanely difficult to go through all of it frame perfect. And even if you manage to do it, you still have to do the manipulations, and we don't even know, like, how the manipulations would work out. But the odds are 3 manipulations, like finding a manipulation against Haishin and win an MBD in campaign would be incredibly hard to begin with. And that's just to find 1. To find 3 in a row would be nearly impossible, if not impossible. Like it might actually be impossible. Or not worth it. Like not worth it time-wise. Like it might take so many frames to go by before favorable outcomes are like possible, that it would just be faster to do it the old way anyway. I mean, yeah, anything is technically... I mean, it's not confirmed possible yet. I mean, yeah, it would be possible. Yeah, it's possible by Taz. But it's not possible, for the most part, for a human to do it, for the most part. Like, it's technically possible for a human to do it. But it's technically possible for a human to play this game, you know, frame perfectly, just like the tool-assisted speedrun does, but it's not going to happen, you know? Humans just generally aren't capable of doing that type of inputs, even with years and years and years of practice, and that's just kind of how hard it would be. There we go. So again, all this would have to be frame perfect. All of this would have to be frame perfect. All the text skipping, all the option hitting, all the loading screens. You have to keep that one in mind too. The loading screens would have to not fuck everything up if you're using a timer. If you're going off of audio cues, it's not a big deal. There's just a lot that goes into it that wouldn't be worth it. Make a Taz run of this game. It's already been done, Bone. You can search it on YouTube. It's already been done, and it's been done recently too, with like recent strategies. I would love to smash my world record. That's something everybody has to keep in mind, is I have the world record right now. So if I don't get it, I still have it. I'm just trying to beat my own record right now, that's all. I think it would be so awesome to beat it on my birthday, though. 2-piece and a biscuit, that's it. So I'm hoping I got frame 711, but I can work with 712, or 706 if I have to. Okay, good, 711. That's, like, perfect. Have you considered trying to do 100%? I have done 100%, I just haven't finished it technically. I'm right at the end of my 100%, and I still have the file, and I can continue it whenever, but I still haven't technically finished the 100% yet. But I'm, like, right near the end. I've done all the hard stuff. So one day I'm gonna finish it for sure. The key for this run is still in Manips to get MBD. Yes, that is the fastest way to play this game, is to manipulate Meteor B Dragons. Meteor B Dragon is a card that can be won extremely early in the game and is easily the best card on its own in the game, by far. That you can win. Meteor B Dragon is the best card you can win as its own card on its own, right? Not with other things. People might say, well, what about Megamorph? And Megamorph is equally as good as MBD if the rest of your deck is already good, because Megamorph needs to be put onto something else. MBD has the weakness of not being able to kill MBDs not being able to kill an MBD. So an MBD can't beat an MBD, it can only match it. That's MBD's weakness over Megamorph, because when you Megamorph a twin-headed, it's 3,800, and now you're able to kill an MBD, whereas an MBD can't do that. So that's MBD's one weakness, but its advantage is the fact that it's just a single card, and you don't need to rely on draws to make it work. Megamorph, you need to rely on card draws, right? Like, you need to draw a twin-headed in order for it to be useful. If you don't draw a twin-headed, that Megamorph doesn't mean much. Final 6 Manips are incredibly important. There's a lot of stuff that has to go right in order for this to be a record, Captain Tryhard. Like, a lot of stuff has to happen. Alright, let's see if we can get this here. That was weird. My start button presses were offbeat, but my final hit should have been fine. Oh, fuck. I thought that was it. No, it's not. That might be 768 or 468, which is like... It would have gotten me an MBD, but it doesn't let me do the 2-piece and a biscuit, so... Right now, it is 8:51 p.m. Some by to say happy birthday. Thank you, Knight. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for all the happy birthdays, everybody. That was early again. Not doing too good on the MBD manips lately. First time in chat. Awesome, Rabito. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate the kind words. God, that free duel hit was really quick. That was good. It's not the problem. No, it was the problem then. It's not the problem now, though. That's better. Alright, so we're at the maximum number of failures, so we have to get all 3 in a row now in order for this run to be worth it. So if we get all 3 MBDs in a row, we'll continue this run. If we get a single failure anywhere, it's over. But as of right now, it is worth it to continue. What do we got here? So we got Moon. I don't really play any other card games. Thanks for the happy birthday coffee. Alright, let's see how this works. Two randoms? Yeah. That was spot on. Nope. I got the bad 50-50. That run was bad anyway. I didn't want to continue it. But if it worked, I would have continued. But that one was slightly off. So no two-piece yet. 96.43. That's what it is. Damn, 71 viewers already, and I've been streaming for 45 minutes. Holy shit, guys. That's awesome. You guys are awesome. All 74 of you. Shit. Hey, if you're here and you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing really helps me. Also, you know, watch my other videos and shit. That stuff just helps a lot. Can we get a hit the like button? Hell yeah. Yo, Soloris. Oh, Solar. Yeah. What's up, dude? Thanks for the happy birthday. I'm only 14 off? I thought I was further away than that. Am I really that close to 1K? Am I gonna hit 1K today? Am I gonna fucking hit 1K on my birthday? No way. Dude, if I hit 1K on my birthday... that wouldn't even make sense to me. More? Jesus Christ, you guys are subscribing it. Dude, 4 more? I have 996 right now. Wait a second. 97. 997. Holy shit. 3 more subs and we're there. Oh my god. Oh, and I got the deck too. I can't even sit and enjoy it. Alright, well, this is what you're subbing for. $98. Oh my god. I can't believe that, dude. That's crazy. 1K birthday present. Yeah, holy shit. 1K world record and birthday all in one day. Let's make it happen, guys. Two more subs, that's it. Once I hit 1,000 subs, I think I unlock a couple features on YouTube. 99. One more subscriber. Who's gonna be the 1,000th? Who is it gonna be? Oh my god, dude. I cannot believe. There it is! It happened! It happened. Holy shit. Oh my god. I didn't even look at what deck I have. 706 or 711. Oh my god, dude. Did I just get fucking wall shadowed? Oh my god, dude. You guys are too awesome. Honest to god, thank you so much, guys. It means so much to me. It really does. I'm gonna do something special for 1K. I just don't know what it is yet. But I will figure something out, I promise you that. Holy shit, the bad luck on this duel, though. God damn. I can't believe this. I honest to God can't believe this. I gotta tweet this. When you hit 1K subs. Yeah, dude. What do you think about FM mods? I played mod 13, I think. I want to say it was mod 13 I played. But I'm not a giant fan of them, if I'm being honest. Like, mod 13 was okay, but, I mean, most of them just add difficulty just for the sake of being difficult. So. One of the only birthday present we can. Honest to God, it's the best birthday present I've gotten. 1,000 subs, man. Well, now the road to more happens, right? I'm not stopping YouTube. I'm gonna keep going and keep pushing, guys, because you guys make it worth it. You really do. Pre-ordered God of War? I don't know. I don't know if I'll play it, maybe. So, when I'm done streaming this for today, what game do you guys think I should play? Now, it doesn't have to be a game that you've seen me stream before. It could be a completely different game. So give me your opinions on what you want to see me play. Just casually, just casual gameplay, you know? I like doing casual gameplay. I like this, but this burns me out very quickly. You have to understand. Oh, I don't have the right timer set. Oh, I was in the middle of an attempt, wasn't I? Oh no, I wanted to reset anyway. My timer 9643. I don't really want a failure. I can avoid that. 9643, that's it, yep. Nah, my controller should be fine. Let's hope though, right? Yeah, unreal. Finish RE5? Yeah, I'm like right at the end of RE5, so I should really get that done. That was early. FM2? Oh god no, oh god no, oh god no. I hated FM2. Something not FM related. I'll probably finish Resident Evil 5. But I want to play something that you guys want to see. Like, the thing is, when I stream this game, I get so many viewers, but when I stream anything else, I get none, you know? So I kind of want to do something that you guys want to see that isn't this game. What would you guys like to see? Yeah, I'll buy the game. I will literally, if it's something I'm interested in, right? I'm not going to play something that I have no interest in at all, but I will go out of my way and purchase a game if I have to. If it's something that looks mildly interesting to me to play it, if it's something that you guys would enjoy. Half the fun for me is being able to talk to you guys, so whatever it takes to get you guys here, I'm willing to do. Punch that boulder, oh hell yeah. Duels of the Roses, I could do that. Not a big fan of the game. I played some of it. I don't think I played it all the way through. I like all kinds of games. I could play all kinds of games, really. My game taste is everywhere. I just like games. I play a lot of games, and I love playing games. Thanks, John. I appreciate it, dude. Get God of War when it comes out? Okay, I'll definitely do that. You know what games I wanted to get into? I wanted to get into the Dark Souls games. I never played a Dark Souls game before, but what people told me was that I should wait until May because they're coming out with the original Dark Souls game remastered. Because I said, you know, what order should I play the Souls games in? And they're like, well, play it in order, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and then, you know, Dark Souls 3 if you want. But they're like, wait until the first one comes out remastered, so I'm kind of waiting on Dark Souls for the first one to be remastered, and then I'm going to get that one, because if I'm going to play the games in order, if I'm going to play Dark Souls 1, I may as well wait a month for it to be remastered, right? I may as well play the better one. Play Dead Rising 1. Final Fantasy X. I haven't played that in a while, and I really like that game. That's a very good contender. But the thing with Final Fantasy X is I feel like literally nobody would watch me play that. I feel like watching RPG-type games can get really boring for people. I feel like pretty much nobody would watch that. Left 4 Dead 2 with viewers, I could do that. I don't have the game, but I could get the game. Or if somebody wants to gift me the game. But I could buy it if I have to. Any game that I have that's multiplayer, I'm up to playing it with viewers. Just so everybody knows. So if anybody plays any sort of multiplayer games and you're like, wow, I would love to play on stream with GFC, I would totally do it. I do it. Any game that I have now, if it's a multiplayer game, I always ask my stream if anybody wants to play. Yeah, I'll definitely get God of War, and we will definitely play together on stream. See, the thing that I do with casual games is I play them through on stream, and then the stream gets uploaded as a video on YouTube, so that anybody can watch it at any time. And then it becomes like a playthrough series on my channel, which is what I want. See, I play Fortnite as well. But again, nobody really wants to watch somebody play Fortnite if they're not good at it, right? Nobody wants to watch people who suck at Fortnite play Fortnite. Fortnite's one of those games where if you're not good, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Because anybody can play Fortnite. It's a free-to-play game, right? It's not like it's this mystical $60 game that I can't afford, so I'm going to watch somebody else play. It's not like that. See, the thing with free-to-play games is if they're... The reason a lot of people watch Let's Plays is, yeah, because the person's entertaining. I mean, that's obviously the biggest factor is, you know, the person's entertaining, they're funny, that type of thing. But there's also a lot of people who watch them because they are interested in the game, but they don't want to spend the money to get it, necessarily. So they want to watch somebody else do it, or they want to see what somebody else thinks of it, right? But with Fortnite, it's free to play. Anybody could download Fortnite right now. So the only reason somebody's going to go into a stream is because they really like the streamer, or if they're really good, or a combination. Normally, it's a combination. Persona 5? I've never played the Persona games. You ever heard of Lethal League? No, I have not. Bloodborne? Oh yeah, I could do Bloodborne. But that's a Souls game, right? Bloodborne is a Dark Souls game, correct? Like it's Dark Souls 3, is it? Or is it like something different? Yeah, Fortnite's just incredibly oversaturated. You gotta be literally kidding me. This is like as slow as it comes right here, ladies and gentlemen. My movements are really good, but everything else is just really slow. Look at that 2 hits I have to do. It's a different series, Bloodborne is? Really? What am I thinking of then? Huh. I have, hang on. I have Dragon Ball FighterZ and I have Call of Duty World War II. Oh, it's same creators but different game? Oh. How is Bloodborne? Oh, it's like the same exact game. But it's not part of the Dark Souls series. It's its own thing, right? If it's its own thing, then I'll play it. Is it good? What do you guys think of it? Bloodborne. Because I'll play Bloodborne. I'll play Bloodborne motherfucking tonight. Wait, is it a PS4 exclusive? Bloodborne? Because if it is, I can't play it. Oh, I'm on PS4. No, it's released on consoles, right? Yeah, it's definitely released on consoles. It's a PS4 exclusive, isn't it? No, it can't be, is it? It is a PS4 exclusive. Motherfucker, dude. That's so annoying. Unless anybody wants to buy me a PS4. Somebody wants to buy me a PS4 for my birthday, then I'll do it. But without that, I'm not gonna be doing it. I wish I had more Zelda games to play, but I really don't. I could do a master mode playthrough of Breath of the Wild, but I don't know. Get my brother to buy me one. Yeah, honest to God. He may as well have with what he gave me today. He gave me like $200. And I need to use that on rent. That was perfect. I love Binding of Isaac. I have Binding of Isaac. If you guys want to see Binding of Isaac, I can play that for you guys. And I love playing Isaac. I could play Isaac for hours, man. I could play that for so long. If you guys want to see the Binding of Isaac, let me know. Because that's something that I would really enjoy playing right about now. I have it on the Switch. I'd plug it in. I have a beautiful HD capture card, so you'd see it in perfect HD. I could do that for sure. I could do Breath of the Wild as well. I could play the new Kirby game, by the way. I have the new Kirby game. I have Xbox One, GameCube, PlayStation 2, Nintendo Switch. PC, obviously. I have a lot of shit. Good night, Jonatas. The new Kirby is fucking amazing. I only played like one session of it, and it was a lot of fun. But I haven't really gotten far into it. So if you guys want to see the new Kirby, I could do that. Seems like there's some interest in the chat on the new Kirby. I could do that tonight for sure. What is Binding of Isaac? Dude, Isaac is such a fun game. I don't even know how to describe it, man. Just look up videos of it. It's a really fun game. So how's this? And I'm talking about tonight, right? What do you guys want? I'll make a... I can make a poll, I guess. Maybe straw poll's working now, but I don't know. Hang on, I want to make sure straw poll's working. Is that working? Can you guys get to that poll? I already played Undertale, and Undertale is the kind of game where you play it once, like, you get all the endings, and then it's kind of like, has no real point of playing it anymore. Does that link work? Yes or no? I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. Okay, cool. I figured it didn't work. Links always get broken in these chats for some reason. I wonder if this will work. Does this work? No, it doesn't work. Why, though? That's what I want to know. Like, why is that doing that? Oh, you know what I could do? I just realized something, guys. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Okay, I'm gonna try something really quick. Does that work? I wonder why. This is the weirdest thing. What is being done to it that's making it not work? That's what I want to know. Hello, how are you? I have some doubts. Ooh, cool. Here, let me show you. Do you want to see how it works, Tiago, Lucas? I could show you. I'll just do some MBD farming real quick, just for you. If you don't believe me. Okay, so the way that this works is that I'm going to enter a duel against Haishin on a very specific frame. I'm using the timer right now that's ticking in order to time the frames that are going by. And I enter the duel right as it hits 0. This puts my frame number right where it needs to be. Now, let's see if I got it. So I didn't get it, right? So I can tell whether or not I got the correct frame by the opening hand. So this opening hand tells me that I did not get it. So I have to reset the console and try again, right? There is no way to do it the way you think, Tiago. The way that it works is you need to have a specific 40 cards in your deck. So all 40 cards in your deck need to be like certain cards, right? So if you recreate my exact deck, then you could do this manipulation. But we also have a way to manipulate it so you can get this starting deck. So you need to manipulate this starting deck in order for this to work. Now you can find manipulations with any deck anywhere, but that would be something you'd have to do. There's no set tutorial on how to do that, really. Okay, still not the right hand. Just look in the game's code. That's really how people do it. People looked in the game's code and they looked in the game through like the memory addresses and stuff while it was running, like debuggers and stuff. By looking through that, we can see what values relate to each other, what values are called upon when certain things are happening, and that's how they figured all this stuff out. So again, it's taking me a couple tries because, like I said, this is incredibly precise. This game runs at 60 frames per second, which means every second 60 frames are going by, and I need to hit like just like 1 or 2. I still didn't get it. So I'm going to go into a more in-depth way of how this works in a second. And then, like, I think I'm going to really go into depth, like, really quick. I have some stuff I can pull up to show, like, visually how it works, and it'll be a lot easier for you guys to understand once you see that. Once you see exactly, like, the spreadsheets I'm talking about. I've beaten the game a couple more times than that, I think. Okay, so I got it, right? Yes, the opening hand has to look like this. So Tygo, pretty much, in order for this manipulation to work, the one that I'm doing, the specific manipulation that you just saw me do, it requires you to have the same deck that I have, right? You have to have the same exact deck that I have. If you have a different deck, it won't work, right? Now, if you have a different deck, you can figure out how to make it work. But you would have to figure out your own timings, your own strategies. All that would have to be your own stuff. You wouldn't be able to use this. But for this deck that I'm using right now, we have figured out the strategies for. So, how do I tell what frame I'm on? Well, I look at the opening hand. So this opening hand tells me that I am on the correct frame. So the deck needs to be specific. Yes, but what I'm saying is, like, you can find manipulations with any deck, right? Like, once you find a manipulation that works, it's only going to work with the deck that's attached to it. So if I had a different deck and I did the same manipulation with the same timings on the same person, it wouldn't work, right? Unless all the right cards were in the right order. And you'll figure why this is true in a second. I'll show this to you in a moment. So what I'm going to do now is, now that I entered the duel on the right frame, and I have the correct deck, right? So the 40 cards they're all in the right order, right? All my cards are ordered correctly, and I entered on the right frame. So when I enter on the right frame, what the game does is it takes my deck and it shuffles it in a very specific way so that I draw cards in a specific order, right? It does this at the beginning of every duel. Every frame that goes by, the game says, okay, you're going to draw your deck this way. You're going to draw your deck that way. And every frame that goes by, it's a different way to draw your deck, a different order, right? So it just so happens that on this frame, I draw the deck in the exact order that I need in order for the manipulation to work. And every frame that goes by, the AI does something different. So on this frame, we get easy modes, right? So Haishin is only playing like Zera the Mant, right? Easy stuff. He's not playing Meteor B Dragons. If I was a frame late, then he might be playing, you know, Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth and stuff. Every frame is different for what the AI does. So this frame in particular, and a couple around it, are specifically tailored to work with my deck. So, like I said, now that I'm in the duel, this doesn't, just because I hit the frame, it doesn't mean I'm 100% going to win an MBD, right? Now I need to do specific movements throughout the duel. So, if I did this right now, if I did this to make a twin-headed, I would not win the card. I would not win MBD. Everything that you do in this duel changes what card you win at the end, right? So if I do 2 fusions throughout the entire duel, and I win on turn 3, let's say, that's going to give me 1 drop. But if I do 1 fusion in the duel and win on turn 3, then I'm going to get a different drop. So there's all these different combinations of how to win this duel. We know what cards we're going to draw, and I know what cards Haishin is about to play. So by knowing that, I need to go through all the different winning combinations. So I could do, you know, maybe I'll do this, right? Or no, that's no fusion. That's 2 fusions. Well, what if I want 3? What if I want to dump an extra card? So maybe I'll do this, right? Now I'm dumping a card and doing 2 fusions instead of just doing 2 fusions. So if I go through the duel like this, I get 1 drop. But if I go through the duel like this, it's a different drop. So what we did was we went through all these duels. We actually used a script to do so. And the script pretty much went through all the different possibilities. Said, if you go through the duel like this, what do you win? If you go through the duel like this, what do you win? If you go through the duel like this, what do you win? It goes through all the different possibilities. And what we do is we find the possibilities that have the outcomes that we want. Meteor B Dragon. So, the set of movements you see me do right now is very specific. The set of movements I'm about to do, everything I do in this duel, I've rehearsed before, right? I've done before and I know what the outcome is. According to the script, if you do these things on these turns, if on the first turn I do 2 fusions, on the second turn I dump 1 card and do 2 fusions, and on the third turn I place a card face down, if I do all that stuff, I should win a Meteor B Dragon every single time. Right? Good. So now I'm going to do those specific movements. So on the first turn, I have to do 2 fusions, right? And I need to dump 1 card. So the way I need to end with a twin-headed. So the way I do that is I do this, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this. So what this does is I throw a card, and then I do 2 fusions. Now, I don't know necessarily what frame I'm on yet, right? This opening hand actually belongs to 2 different frames. However, both frames work for this MBD. This is either frame 470 or 472. Now you're going to say, well, how do you know which one you're on? Because each frame means that I have to do something different throughout the duel, right? If I'm on frame 470, I have to do something different than if I'm on frame 472. However, the first turn is the same because we have the same opening hand. So I put this in Pluto, and the way that I tell whether I'm on 470 or 472 is that I look at what card he plays. So he played a moon. A moon means that I'm on frame 472. A Pluto means that I'm on frame 470. So this is frame 472, 100%. Now that I know that I'm on frame 472, I know what movements I need to do exactly. So now, in this particular frame, I need to do 2 fusions and end with a twin-headed in Pluto. So 1, 2. That's all I have to do. So 2 fusions. 1, 2, ending in Pluto. And now all I have to do is I need to attack directly here. It's a Zera the Mat, which I knew, and I'm going to attack him directly. So now I already know what frame I'm on, so I already know what cards he's going to play. So in the next turn, the last card I draw is going to be Umi, right? You're about to see me draw Umi. There's Umi. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about, right? So in this turn, I need to play this Umi face down. Is this the fastest way to win the duel? No, we're not trying to win the duel as quickly as we can. We're trying to manipulate the game to drop a card that we want. So I'm going to play the Umi face down. Now, I'm about to do something that might look weird, okay? I'm going to do a 3D duel. You know how if you initiate a duel by hitting square in this game, it starts up that 3D animation of the monsters fighting? Well, believe it or not, every time you initiate that animation, it changes the card drop at the end. So we figured out that if we do this 3D duel and we cancel out of it at a certain time as well. So in the beginning of this 3D duel, if you instantly cancel out, and then you finish the duel like normal, you'll get 1 drop. But if you wait a little bit longer and let the 3D duel play out for like 10 more seconds instead, and then go through the same way as you did last time, you'll get a different drop. So where I cancel out of this 3D duel I'm about to do matters. I need to cancel out at a specific part. It's not frame perfect, I have a couple seconds of leeway, but it has to be during a specific segment. Particularly the segment where my monster is being spawned in. So you know how when your monster spawns, a ring of fire comes around him and then he spawns up? As soon as that ring of fire starts, my window opens to cancel out of the 3D duel. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Since this is a speedrun, I'm going to try to cancel out as quickly as I can, which is as soon as that fire ring starts to form. So that's like this. 3D duel starts. Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. I memorize it with the music. Okay, so the ring of fire was just about to start. The circles were spinning, so that's done. Next, I have to attack directly. And I'm going to end my turn. Okay, so next, I'm going to use cards 1, 2, and 4, right? The reason I'm going in this order is to prevent fusions, because if I did this instead, there would be a fusion, and if there's a fusion, that throws everything off, right? So 1, 2, 4. This is card 1, this is card 2, this is card 3, we don't want it, this is card 4, we want it. So if I write in a little notepad file 1, 2, 4 on this turn, I know to go 1, 2, 4. So that's what I'm going to do. If I had done something else, it would not have worked. So now all I have to do is win the duel now by attacking with twin-headed first. Now you might say attack with this twin-headed and win. If I did that, guess what? I wouldn't win Meteor B Dragon. If I attack with this first, then I do. So I'm attacking with Dark Plant first on purpose. And now when I finish this attack, I've done everything I needed to do, and I will 100% win a Meteor B Dragon. And it will work every single fucking time I do this. You ready? So I'm about to win a Meteor B Dragon, and I'm 100% positive of it. The chances are 4 out of 2,048. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. I'm playing on a completely non-modified game. This game is 100% not modified. I'm playing on a console right now. I'm playing on a regular console with a regular PlayStation controller with a regular disc. Not modified at all. I'm just hitting stuff at specific points. That's all I'm doing. So what I'm going to try to do now is what we in chat like to call a two-piece and a biscuit. So normally what we do after we win an MBD, what we used to do is we would save the game, so that we don't lose the MBD, we would reset the console, and then we would do it again. The reason we reset the console is, remember how we have to enter the duel on a specific frame? So we have to enter the duel on frame 470, right? 470 or 472, right? However, once the duel's over, those frames are gone now. We're already past them. So what we do is we save the game to keep the MBD, and then we reset the console so that frame count goes back to 0, and then we can do it again. However, there's a new strategy. The new strategy is we actually found out a way to just go right back into Haishin. So no console reset, we're just going to mash right back into Haishin because we found another frame that's later on. So instead of 420, let's say this is frame 5000 now. Because we did this duel, and we know we're at frame 420, and then we do some certain adjustments right before the next duel to make the frame be 5000, and then we enter the duel, and now we're on frame 5000, and since we rehearsed that duel just like we did this one, we can win another MBD without having to reset. This saves 1 minute and 10 seconds every time you do it. So what I'm going to try to do is a two-piece and a biscuit, ladies and gentlemen. So, two-piece and a biscuit incoming. Let's try to do it. So, what I have to do now is I have to do some very quick movements. So what I'm going to do, it's going to go very fast, okay, which is why I'm explaining it before I do it. I'm going to skip this screen. I'm going to click back into Haishin. I'm going to take a basic insect out of my deck. I'm going to put an MBD into my deck, right? And then I'm going to exit that screen and start the duel at a very specific point in the music. If you listen to the music right before a duel, it goes like this. It goes boom da 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 boom da 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 boom ba 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 boom da 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 boom. Those booms, we count those. Since the music runs at the same time every time, we know how many frames are going by based off of where in the music we are. If we're at the third boom, we know that this many frames has gone by because it takes that long for the music to play. If we're at the second boom, right, then this many frames have gone by. So what I have to do here is I have to mash into Haishin 2, right? I have to do 2 random sorts, which I'm not going to get into, but pretty much I have to sort the deck randomly twice because that does something to the frame count. So I'm going to mash out of the screen, mash into Haishin 2. I'm going to sort the deck randomly twice, very quickly. I'm going to take out a basic insect. I'm going to put in the Meteor B Dragon I just won, and then I'm going to wait for the third boom in the music, and I'm going to start the duel right on the third boom. And if everything is done correctly, I could potentially have another duel right in a row without resetting the console where I could win MBD again. Sounds like a lot, and that's because it is. Okay? Alright. Here we go. Let's see how this works. So, remember everything I just said. Mash in Haishin 2, 2 random sorts of the deck, remove basic insects, add MBD, hit on the third boom. Go. That was boom 3. So, if I know I'm in the range, but now it's pretty much a 50-50 whether I get it. So I did not get it. This is not a good frame. So in a speed run, this would be a reset point. I would restart the entire speedrun because that wastes a lot of time. Because keep in mind, I'm not saving after winning that first MBD. So the only way to get that frame count back would be to save and then to reset, and that takes too much time, right? Or to lose the duel and then save and reset, which takes way too much time. So I'm going to do this again to show you that it's not just a fluke, okay? I'm going to win another MBD. So again, I'm starting my timer at a very specific point because I'm trying to count how many frames are going by. And I'm entering the duel at a specific point, trying to count how many frames are going by. Everybody in chat, please keep it to English. I would really prefer my chat to be English only, everybody. So if you could just try your best to speak English or use Google Translate, that would be great. Like I said, I want to keep this chat English only, so just try to use Google Translate if you can. I can't moderate a chat I can't understand. It's mostly for moderation. I can't moderate anything if I don't understand it. Yeah, just in general, keep it to English anyway, because if you guys are talking in Spanish, I can't understand it anyway. I'm not in the conversation. This is my stream. I feel like I should kind of be in the conversation that's going on. It's my chat, so I feel like if there's a conversation going on in it, I should at least be able to understand it. No, it's okay. So I'm going to win another one right here. If I can. So again, starting the timer at a very specific point. Okay, so as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, does this opening hand look familiar to you? It should, because it's the opening hand we just had when we won the MBD last time. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play the same exact duel you saw last time. So again, Pluto is 470, Moon is 472. Look at this, it's the same duel you guys just saw, 472. So that's gonna be, do you guys remember what card that was? It was a Zera the Man, right? So, if I'm on the same frame, it should be Zera the Man. So look at me, I'm doing the same exact thing that I did in the last duel. And guess what, if I do the same thing I did in the last duel, guess what card I'm gonna win? The same card that I won the first time. MBD. Zera the Man, ladies and gentlemen. That's how this works. Shouldn't you be able to just use the music instead of the metronome? You can, but the way that this works is I use the timer for things that are much more precise than the music can handle for the most part. So the first MBD is actually very precise, Leonardo, and the music doesn't line up in good enough spots to make it easy for you. It's doable, right? I'm not saying that it's not possible, but it's much easier to do with a metronome. Right? It's just 100 times easier to do it with a timer metronome. A timed metronome, pretty much. It's 100 times easier. There's no real reason not to use one. You can do it with just the music. It's just a lot harder. And there's no reason to make it more difficult. You know what I mean? So again, 3D duel. Right out then. Yeah, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is not a card that you can win. MBD is the best card that you can win in the game. Some people could debate that Megamorph is also up there, but obviously we're not going to be doing that. So 1, 2, 4. Remember 1, 2, 4? There it is. Yes, really, you cannot win Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in the game. So remember, we're attacking with this and not the twin-headed to win. So what card do you guys think I'm going to win this time? I just had the same duel you saw the first time, and surprise, surprise, I won the same exact card. This, ladies and gentlemen, is RNG manipulation. What we're doing is I'm not changing anything about the game. That's one thing you guys have to keep in mind, right? I'm not changing anything about the game. The game is running exactly the way it should be running, right? I'm not altering anything. It's called RNG manipulation, but I'm not technically manipulating anything. Everything is running the way it should be, right? You could do this on emulator. You could do this on a PlayStation 1. You could do it on a PlayStation 2, like I'm doing it on. You could do it on any version of the game. You could do it on an Android phone if you wanted to. You could do whatever you want. You could do this there. This can be done with anything, because all we're using is the game itself. This isn't a glitch. This isn't an exploit. All this is figuring out how the game works and doing things at very specific times. That's all it is. So I'm going to go for the 2-piece and a biscuit, shall we? Right back in. 2 random sorts of the deck. Remove that. Add that. Third boom. So I went on the third boom. So how do I know I got this? MBD needs to be in the opening hand. If it's not, I failed. MBD's in the opening hand. This is what we like to call a 2-piece and a biscuit, ladies and gentlemen. So, I just won MBD, and I'm going to win one again, right? I didn't even have to reset the fucking console. I'm going to win 2 Meteor B Dragons in a row. In a row, okay? Do you know what the odds of winning 1 MBD from this guy is? So, do you guys remember how difficult it was to win a Meteor B Dragon from Meadow Mage, right? Let me put this into perspective for you. Meadow Mage has a 20 out of 2048 drop chance of Meteor B Dragon, right? So if you write out a fraction, that's 20 over 2048. That's the odds of a Meteor B Dragon dropping from Meadow Mage when you farm him. The odds of it dropping here against Haishin is a 4 out of 2048, which is 5 times less likely. You are 5 times less likely to win a Meteor B Dragon from Haishin than you are Meadow Mage. If you want an exact number, I'll give it to you. So 20 divided by 2048 times 100. So the odds of winning a Meteor B Dragon from Meadow Mage, right? Meadow Mage, that's the person you go to for Meteor B Dragon. The odds of winning that card against Meadow Mage is 0.977%. You have a 0.977% chance of winning a Meteor B Dragon against Meadow Mage. You want to know what the odds of me winning that against this guy is? It is a 0.195% chance. So I am about to win a card that has the probability of dropping. The probability of me winning this card is 0.195%, and I'm about to win 2 in a row. And I could do this every single time. That's what manipulation does, right? So the way the 2-piece and biscuit works is I'm going to do, again, some very specific movements. So the first thing I need to look at in this particular manipulation, right? All manipulations are going to be different, but in this particular one, the first thing I need to do is well, first you need to check for MBD. If MBD's in the opening hand, now you're good and you know you could get it. So next, you need to look at the 4th card in your hand, right? So the 4th card in my hand is Dark Plan. So I have a spreadsheet in front of me that tells me what I need to be doing, because there's a lot of possibilities, right? There's a lot of different duels that can happen. They're all good, but you need to do very different things for all of them, so I have a spreadsheet to help me out. So this tells me, and I made the spreadsheet, by the way, but this tells me that if Dark Plant is the 4th card, which it is, then I need to play cards 4, 5, and 2, and put the end card in Mars. So what does that mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. Just like that, and I need to put the resulting card, which is this, in Mars. Done. So next, it branches off into 3 different pathways. One pathway is if the AI plays Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, which is a Pluto. The next pathway is if he plays Zera the Mant, which is a moon. And the final pathway is if he plays Sinenjin, which is a Jupiter. So if he plays a Pluto, I'm going to go down path 1. If he plays a moon, path 2. If he plays a Jupiter, path 3. So let's see what he plays. He's going to play one of the 3, though, that's for sure. Jupiter. That means that is a Sinenjin. So now that we're in Sinenjin, it actually branches off into 2 more. So since he played Sinenjin, now I need to look at my 4th card again. And the reason this is true is because there's so many different frames that work, right? And we need to figure out which one we're on before we can do the correct manipulations. Every frame is different, which is why we need to know what frame we're on in order for the manip to work. So if our 4th card is Tamazaurus, I'm going to do one thing. It's not Tamazaurus. If my 4th card is Lalalayun, I'm going to do another thing. It's Lalalayun. So now I'm going to go down this pathway. This pathway tells me I need to play cards in order 3, 5, 1, 4, and end in Pluto. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 4. Makes it twin-headed. Look at that. And I'm going to end it in Pluto this time. And then it says to attack with twin-headed, and then to attack with Meteor B Dragon. So twin-headed, Meteor B Dragon. Actually takes a lot of work to figure out these manipulations, Corey. So that would be something you would have to figure out yourself. All I can do is kind of tell you how it works, and then you need to do the research on your own. Like I said, every manipulation is different. Every manipulation needs to be figured out on its own. Like, there's no one rule for manipulation. It's not like, oh, in order to do manipulations, you have to do this. So any card you want, just do this, and it works. It doesn't work like that. Every manip is different. Every deck that you have is different, every duelist is different, and every card is different. Those are the 3 main differences that make the biggest difference. So next, I need to play cards 2 and 1 and end in Pluto. So 2, 1, just like that. Bam. And now I'm going to attack with Twin-Headed, and then MBD, and then Bolt Penguin. So Twin-Headed, MBD, and now Bolt Penguin. And like I said, this is the 2-piece and a biscuit. So guess what we're gonna win? I just won a card that is 0.195% chance of dropping, and I just won 2 in a row. I'm sorry to hear that, Corey. So if you had any doubts before of whether this was a fluke or anything, it's not. This is happening and this is real. So you might be asking yourself, I want to do this particular manipulation. I want to win MBD against Haishin. I want to start the game and do exactly what you do. I want to get the same starting deck as you do, and I want to get all 3 MBDs 10 minutes into the game, right? How do I do it? I can show you that. So, you see the timer that's on the very bottom of my stream, right next to my YouTube, right next to the YouTube icon, right to the left of it in white, that 960 or that 789? Well, that's the timer that I use to win the MBDs. However, you have to remember, in order to win these MBDs, I need the right deck, right? So how do I get that starter deck every time? Do I have to farm for all the cards that I have in this deck? And in order for the manipulation to work? Well, that would be slow, wouldn't it? So what we do is, this is actually just the starter deck. How do you manipulate the starting deck? The same way I manipulate this. So when I manipulate an MBD, I need to start a duel on a specific frame in order for it to work. In order to get a particular starting deck, I need to start a new game on a particular frame. Every frame that goes by, a different deck is what you would get. You'd get a different deck. So if I start a new game on frame 1, I get this deck. If I start a new game on frame 2, I get this deck. I want to start a new game on frame 706 or frame 711 because both of them have this deck at it. Frame 7, the only difference between the two is one card, and that one card ends up not making a difference. But really quick, I'm going to actually show you guys something really interesting, and I think when you see this, the concept of RNG manipulation is going to really click in everybody's head. So if you guys really want to pay attention to this, I think you're going to understand RNG manipulation after you see it. I'm going to tell you how the game determines what card you draw, right? That sounds like insignificant, but once you understand this, you're going to understand RNG manipulation 100 times better. So, let me get a spreadsheet open, because I need to show you this spreadsheet in order for it to work, in order for you to really understand what I'm talking about here. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a window capture to the stream so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Not that. This. Okay. So what you guys are seeing right now is you're seeing a table. So what this table tells me is it tells me that this is against, who is this against? This is against Capura. So you guys know High Meadow Mage? That's who this spreadsheet is for. So this tells me that at frame 32,744, that's what this frame is right now, I'm going to draw these cards in this order. Now, you might be saying, well, don't the card numbers go between 0 and 722? Why are these numbers so low, right? The reason for that, and I'm going to show you that right now in the game. The way that the game determines what cards are drawn isn't based on card number. It's based off of where the card is in the deck before you start the duel. So let's say let's say the screen I'm at now is right before I enter Haishin, right? Let's say this is right before Haishin, and all I have to do to enter the duel is press the circle button, right? If I press the circle button right now, that would mean that my deck is like this, right? Do you see how the number all the way to the left? That's where the card is. So when I look at this, right, where is this? So let's say I'm looking at this right here. So according to this, I'm going to draw card 11, card 6, card 34, card 25, and card 4. So what that means, it doesn't mean card number 11, it means whatever is in the 11th slot in the deck before you start. So what the game is going to do is it's going to go down and it's going to look at whatever's in the 11th slot. Mystery hand. So right now, Mystery hand is in the 11th slot. So if I started a duel against Haishin, or against whoever, and card number 11 was the first card I drew, it would be this card. It would be Mystery hand. Next is 6. So then I would draw a Dark Plant. Next is 34. Then it would be a Griggle. So that's easy to understand. But what if I sort the deck like this? Or like this? What if I sort the deck like this? Now what's in the card slot 11? Now the Wandering Doomed is. What's in card slot 6? Now Nemoriko is. So if I enter the duel with the deck sorted this way, my draw is going to be completely different. I have the same deck, but I sorted the deck differently. And because of that, that's how it works. So the game doesn't look at particular cards. The game doesn't say, I'm going to let you draw a dragon in the first turn and a thunder in the second turn. It doesn't say that. It says, hey brother, whatever's in card slot 11, that's what you're drawing as your first card. So if I sort the deck this way, that's Wandering Doomed. If I sort the deck this way, it's Wing Cleaver. If I sort it this way, it's also Wing Cleaver. This way, it's Phantom Ghost. This way, it's Cyberstein. This way, it's Mystery Hand. So we can use that to our advantage. So the reason you need to have a specific starting deck is because we found a frame that made it so we draw twin-headed materials in the first hand. So what I mean by that is, every time before I start the duel, do you notice how, like when I was going for the MBDs, I would always enter this screen, I'd scroll over, and I would hit start twice. The reason for that is to get the cards in the right spot. If I entered the duel only hitting start once and I was here, the cards are in a completely different spot. I wouldn't get the draws I need. But if I hit start twice, now I have the cards in the correct order. This is why you need a particular deck. You don't need a particular deck because it has specific cards you need. It just happens to have the cards in the right order. That's why we need a specific deck. So if you use this with a different deck, you don't necessarily have to have all the same monsters that I do. You could have completely different monsters. You can have a completely different 40 set of cards. All you need to make sure of is that you have the right cards in the right spots. And the easiest way to do that is by just having a starting deck that we already know where the cards are. That's why we get a specific starting deck. If I get a specific starting deck, now I know exactly where every card is. If I went with a different starting deck, I don't know where all the cards are. Now I have to go into the screen, I have to look at it, I have to say, okay, I have this in card slot 1, I have this in card slot 2, and I have to do that for all of these different sorts, and then I have to go into the spreadsheet that you see there, I have to see what cards I'm going to draw, I have to figure out which card sort I need. If things don't line up, I need to remove cards in order to bump their spot, right? It's a lot of work, isn't it? It's a lot. But if we just start with the right deck, everything's already in place. And all we have to do is hit start twice, and now everything's in the right spot. So, now that we have MBDs, we can use this to our advantage even more. Do you guys notice something about MBDs that's really cool? Do you know why we love MBDs so much? It's because they have high attack and high defense, right? Look at how much attack that has. That is 3,500. Now keep in mind, the first 3 cards we win in this speedrun, they're Meteor B Dragons, right? So we have all these shitty cards, and then boom, we have 2 cards that have 3,500 attack and 2,000 defense, right? So now that that's true, guess what we can do? Now, no matter what deck I have, no matter what happens to these other cards, I can put all other 38 cards right now, I can do whatever I want with them. I can move them around, I can throw them wherever, they don't matter anymore because I have these. How do I make sure I draw these? Well, one cool thing about Meteor B Dragons in the run is that if you sort by attack, they're always going to be in slots 1, 2, and 3 if you have 3 MBDs. They're always going to be there. Every time. If I sort by defense, for the most part in this speedrun, they're always going to be there as well. They're always going to be in slots 1, 2, and 3. If I sort by number, guess where they're going to be? 38, 39, 40, because they're card number 713, and unless you win like Firewing Pegasus or something, they're always going to be in slots 38, 39, and 40. So MBD makes it so there's constants now. You have these constant areas where you can count on MBD being. You can easily get MBD in slots 1, 2, or 3, or 38, 39, and 40. Now, if you do it alphabetically, MBD is normally around, right here, normally around 20, 21, 22. But let's say for this manipulation, I need MBD in slots 17, 18, and 19. Well, what am I going to do? I can take cards out before it, and now look, now they're in those slots. And then I need to add cards after it in the alphabet. This way, we can get MBD pretty much anywhere that we want by manipulating the alphabet. So when I do Final 6 manipulation, guys, if anybody is still with me on this, when I do RNG manipulation for the Final 6, the manipulation count, like, the way the manipulation works is we need to draw those MBDs at specific spots. So what we did is we looked through this spreadsheet and we tried to find places where there were a lot of 38, 39, 40s, or there were a lot of 1, 2, 3s. This is how we found the manipulation. So if we found a bunch of frames where cards 1, 2, and 3 are drawn in the first hand, like we found 20 frames, and in every frame you draw card 1, card slot 1, card slot 2, or card slot 3, well, since we know we can put MBD there every time, that means we can draw MBD in all of those frames in the opening hand. That's exactly what we did. So, for the final 6 manipulation, right before I start it, you might see me go into my deck and fiddle around a little bit and just move things around. The reason for that is that MBD needs to be in card slots 20, 21, and 22. Because we went in a spreadsheet that looks just like this, right? And we found, oh, there's like 30 frames, and all of them have 20, 21, and 22 all around it. Since we can get if we can get MBD in those slots, then we're going to be drawing them. So it works out perfectly. Let's say I couldn't find any good frames, right? So another thing with manip is that we can't just find a single frame, right? This frame right here might be good, but the frame under it might be shit, and the frame above it might be shit. And hitting one frame in this game on the final 6, that's really hard to do. It's almost impossible. So what we do is we look for ranges of frames. So let's say instead of finding one frame, I can find 30 in a row, and every single one draws MBDs, has slot 1, 2, and 3, or slots 3, 4, and 5, or no, slots 20, 21, 22, right? Then all I need to do is I need to hit somewhere within this range now and make sure my MBD is in the right slot. Like, let's look at this. Do you see how there's a bunch of 6s and 7s? Look at all those 6s and 7s. There's a 6 and a 7 in every frame here for the most part. So that means that for all of these frames in the opening hand, I'm going to draw whatever's in card slot 6 and 7. So if I sort the deck this way, that means that all the 6s and 7s you see here are going to be Bolt Penguin and Bone Mouse. That's not too good. But what if I made it so MBD is in those slots? Now, every time you see a 6 and 7, that's a Meteor B Dragon. That's huge. That's how we figured out these manipulations. So to recap really quick, the game does not look at particular cards. The game doesn't say you're going to draw card number 50, which is basic insect, right? It doesn't say you're going to draw card 50 on the first turn and then maybe card 461. It doesn't say that. It says you're going to draw card slot 1, you're going to draw card slot, I don't know, 25, and card slot 17. Every deck is different. Every time you start a duel is different, so I can move around whatever's in slot. Look at slot 17. If I start the duel now, and let's say the first card I draw is card 17, right? Let's start there. The first card I draw is card 17. So what the game is doing is the game is going into here, and it's saying, okay, right before we started the duel, what was in slot 17? The Durdeck. Okay, that's what you draw. But what if I start another duel, and I'm about to draw card 17 again, and I go over to here? Now I'm drawing Gariggle. Now I'm drawing Basic Insect. Now I'm drawing Petite Dragon. Now I'm drawing Morphing Jar. Now I'm drawing Mystery Hand. Now I'm drawing Monster Eye. You guys understand that? So since we know that, now all we have to do is get MBD into card slot 17. If we know that we're going to draw card 17 in the next duel, well, what if I do this? Look what's in 17 now. Now I'm drawing that. That's how the manipulations work. We are getting MBD into the correct card slot, and then we are starting a duel where we know we're going to draw card 17 and card 18, right? That's how it works. That's how manip works. So I'm assuming that most of you who it's not 4 a.m. for and you're awake and you're attentive, if you paid attention to that, you should be able to understand how manipulation in this game works now. But remember, this recording is going to be out on YouTube, so if you need to rewatch it, go ahead and rewatch it. But I think I explained it very well there. It should be pretty easy to understand. Yeah, it should be pretty dang easy. Alright, I'm about to type something in chat. So everybody pay attention to what I'm about to type, okay? Here we go. Okay, you guys ready? I'm about to type something in the chat. It's gonna be something to vote. Type in the number to vote. Go. I see a 3 here. So on the top is the number, and on the bottom is the vote number, how many votes there are for it. So I'm gonna look, I have to look through chat manually. So here's what I'll do. I'll make this nice and big so you guys can see. So this is the voting, okay? Alright, so I'm gonna look through chat. Get your votes in now, because by the time I get to the bottom, I'm probably going with whatever it is. So we have Norik with a 3. Alright. We have Andrew Myers with a 4. We have Corey Wilcox with a 1. We have Captain Tryhard with a 2. We have a lot of different votes here. We have Victor Perry with another 2. We have Gabriel Tranquilli with a 3. Oopsies. We have Alif Korea with 555, which I'm assuming he means 5. So I will go ahead and put that there. Bagaskara with a 5. Okay. How did I get 2 MBD? Ardnak KC. Go back and watch the video, and you can see how I did it. But basically, I used RNG manipulation. Derp Derpinson with a 1. Spearflame with a 3. Currently winning there. Shower with your dad simulator? Nah, that's alright. FM would be nice. I'm pretty much probably done with FM. Yeah, I'm probably done playing FM for today, guys. I know everybody wants to watch FM, but it gets kind of boring really quick. Speedrunning the same game. I mean, I've been playing this game for like 5 years now, more than 5 years, non-stop. So I like to play other games, and I've been streaming this game for 2 hours now, so I think it's time for another game. Captain Tryhard says 2, but Captain Tryhard voted already, didn't he? Yes, he did. So we don't count that. Gustavo Faustino votes a 5. I'm surprised that's getting votes. I did not forget you, Spearflame. I got you. Come on, guys. Resident Evil 5. It's so bad it's good. I think it's good. Ardak KC says 1. I don't think he voted before, did he? No, he didn't. Ardak KC didn't vote before. That's another for 1. IDK 3, okay. Minor 12 says a 1. Thank you for the happy birthday, Liam. Tapia says 3. Looks like 3 is winning so far. I don't even know what that is. I can't teach you RNG manipulation, Ardnak. That's gonna have to be on you, brother. You just have to go back and watch the video. You have to watch the video that I just, watch this stream. Go on the video that you're watching right now of the stream, move the video bar all the way back about an hour, and just watch, and you'll know how it works. Maybe a half hour, I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here and just teach you how to do it. It's very complicated, and it requires a long explanation, which I gave. So you're going to have to watch that for yourself, man. It's not something that I just tell you what, you know, oh, just do this. It's not like that. It's very, very complicated how it works. So if you're not ready to do a lot of stuff in order to do it, don't bother with it. It's not something that you could just pick up and do. You understand what I mean? It's not something that you're going to be able to do tonight, right? It takes hours to set up and learn how to do it. And it's not something you can do with every deck. So if you have a deck that you've been building and you want to get an MBD on there, it's not going to work for that deck. Unless you figure out your own manipulation, and that's going to take even more time to figure out. So this isn't the magical cure-all, win whatever you want, by the way. It's just not. How to get a knowing RMBG? Please teach me. You have to test it basically. You don't really have to test it necessarily because there is there's a script that helps a lot. I'll show you the script actually if you guys want to see it. I'll show you the important part of the script. So I'm gonna just make this go down for a second. So the way that this script works, if I can show it to you, there it is. Okay, so this is the script. So there's a lot of code in here, right? That does a lot of shit. Like all this, a lot of code, and there's a bunch more files that this actually hooks into. But what we care about is this stuff. So pretty much what you do is you type in the opponent. So if I was doing, let's say I was doing Meadow Mage. I believe it's low, or no, it's just Meadow Mage. Right? So let's say I want to manipulate to win a Meteor Bee Dragon against Meadow Mage. This is what I would do, right? I type in Meadow Mage there. Next, I'm going to type in 3 turns because in general, Meadow Mage or MBD drops on a good rank, which means you need to win quickly. So you're going to want a 3-turn duel, right? You're going to want a 3-turn duel. So now I need to make sure that this only has 3. So this used to be 5, so this needs to go down to 3. So I'm going to bring this down to 3. And, oh yeah, and this is going to be 2, actually. And I'll tell you why that's 2 in a second. Okay, so what this means is this is what happens in the duel. So what the script is going to do is it's going to run through thousands of duels very quickly against this person, and it's going to do this stuff during the duel. So on turn number 1, it's going to dump 2 cards. On the second turn, it's going to dump none, and on the third turn, it's going to dump 1. Next is fusions. On the first turn, this script is not going to fuse. On the second turn, it's not going to fuse, but on the third turn, it's going to fuse once. Now, this is quick 3D duels. So what a quick 3D duel is you click square to do a 3D duel, and then you mash right out of it. You just mash O to get out of it, or circle. That way, the 3D duel, the screen fades to black, and then it comes right back, right? You could do that. That changes the game. So what this means, and the reason there's only 2, is because you can't do a 3D duel on the first turn because you can't attack on the first turn. So this means that on the first turn possible, on turn 2, you're going to do 1 quick 3D duel, and on the third turn, you're going to do another quick 3D duel. GS stands for Guardian Star. What that means is Guardian Star interactions. So if you attack somebody with Jupiter and their card is a Mars, there's going to be a Guardian Star interaction there. Every Guardian Star interaction, whether it's good or bad, affects the game. That's what this is. So this is saying that we're not having any Guardian Star interactions, none, throughout the duel. Which means if we do a Guardian Star interaction, what this script does, it tells us, is not going to be relevant anymore because we're not following it. Next is enemy dest. So this is how many cards... what was enemy dest? Oh, this is how many cards... This is effective attacks, right? So when an enemy has a monster in attack mode, and you attack that monster and kill it, and you do life point damage while you kill the monster, that's what this is. So we're just not doing any of that, which means all the cards that we have to kill of the enemies need to be in defense. We cannot kill any cards that are in attack mode, right? Next is direct hits. So there's direct and there's direct lows. So what a direct hit is, I don't remember the exact numbers, but directs, I believe, means when you do a direct damage hit. So you're not destroying a card and doing damage. You're hitting him absolutely directly. Not a card, you're hitting him and his life points. Directs is when it's 1,000 life points or higher. I think these numbers might be wrong, but it's 1,000 life points or higher damage. And this is less than 1,000 life point damage. So in this duel, On turn 2, because remember, we can't do damage on the first turn. On turn 2, we are going to do 1 hit that causes direct damage. And on the last turn of the duel, we're going to do 2 hits for direct damage. And all of that direct damage is going to be more than 1,000. We're not going to have any hits that are small in this duel. So what this does, right, is this script is going to go through on Meadow Mage. And it's going to say, okay, if I did a duel, well, and in that duel I did all of these things, what would the duel look like on frame 1? On frame 2? If I entered a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 1, what would it look like if I did all this on Meadow Mage? If I entered a duel on frame number 2 against Meadow Mage and I did all this stuff, what is it going to look like? If I enter on frame 3 against Meadow Mage and I do all this stuff, what is it going to look like, right? That's what this does, and it shits it all out into an Excel file. So what these numbers here do is this is pretty much saying, where do you want it to start? What frame do you want it to start at? Because believe it or not, you're never going to want this at like 1, right? Because you have to remember, the first frame that the game is on, you can't physically get into a duel, right? Because you're at a loading screen on the first frame, right? The first frame actually happens when the white Konami screen is up in the beginning of the game before the game even starts. That's when the game starts counting. So for the first couple 100 frames, you can't do anything until around frame 400. You could probably start hitting stuff, right? So what you need to do in the beginning, right, the best way to do this is to start at 1, and then number of seeds is how many duels do you want to do. So if I kept it like this, it would tell me what happens at frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, all the way to frame 70, and then it would stop. And it would give me a spreadsheet that tells me what is going to happen when I fight Meadow Mage, starting at frame 1 all the way to frame 70, what is going to happen on each frame when I fight Meadow Mage and I do these things throughout the duel. That's what it's going to tell me, right? So, normally a good way to do this is to do something like this, right? So when you run the script like this, let's see what it looks like, shall we? We're going to see what this looks like. So I'm going to run the script, which is easy. I just double click it. So right now the script is running. You can't see it, but the script is running. It's just a black screen that comes up. Yes, it is Python 3. That's how this is run. So I have all these other files in this folder that it's using right now, but it's calculating everything, including 3D duels and everything, all the frame data. So now it just shit out a little file. And I'm going to open this file up. I'm going to show it to you. Oh, okay, so it's not actually gonna... Okay, so what this looks like now, once we run that, it's gonna look like this. This is the spreadsheet. So this is the spreadsheet that it shits out, right? So, you might want to full screen it if you can't see it. Actually, I could just make it bigger if you guys want, because we don't need all that. I can make this a lot bigger. Okay, so the way that this, so what do we have here, right? This is exactly what it just shit out. So what did I tell it to do? So let's remember exactly what I just told it to do. I said to start at frame 1 and go down to frame 5000. So what this does is it starts at frame 1 and it goes down to 5000. So what is in this spreadsheet that we just shit out? Well, it tells you exactly what cards you're going to draw for the first like 10 turns, because that's all that's relevant when you're actually making manipulations. So this is going to say, okay, so if you enter a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 1, you are going to draw whatever is in card slot 31, 38, 19, 9, and 13. This is your opening hand right here. So what do those numbers mean, right? The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? So, let me show you. So, look at this. So what is this? 31 and 38. Those are the first 2 cards. So that means, if you look at the game, right before you enter the duel, right, you see this screen. 31 and 38. That's the first two cards. The game's going to say, okay, it's going to go down. It's going to look at whatever's in slot 31. It's going to say you're going to draw the Dur deck, because that's in slot 31. And if I had another card in here, you're going to draw Haniwa. Or Zone Eater, rather. So 31, Power Kai Shin, and 38, Zone Eater. Those are going to be my first two cards. However, we can change the order of our deck, can't we? Right before a duel, you have the opportunity to hit Start or Select to do this. So now, my deck is sorted completely differently. So, if I start a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 1, and I do all of the things that I put in the script, I dump 2 cards on the first turn, I do all of those things that I did on the script, I do all those things against Meadow Mage on frame 1. Actually, no, you don't even need to do those things yet. That doesn't come into play. That comes into play for the drop, right? But you don't even have to worry about those things. So let's just say you enter a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 1. Doesn't matter what's in your deck. Nothing matters. You are going to draw whatever is in 31 and 38. So if I entered a duel right now, like this, I would draw Power Kaishin and Zone Eater. Those would be my first 2 cards. But what if right before the duel, instead of doing this, I do this? Now I'm going to draw Mystic Lamp and Umi. What if I do this? Dark Plant and Umi. What if I do this? Bone Mouse and Umi. What if I do this? Muka Muka and, whoa, look at that. I would draw Meteor B Dragon. That seems pretty useful, huh? See what I mean? So, how do I figure out how to win a Meteor B Dragon, right? We don't have the Meteor B Dragon yet. We want to win the Meteor B Dragon, right? Okay, I gotcha. So the way that works is, remember all those things that we put into the script? If you don't remember, let me give you a refresher. Number of turns, 3. Dumps, 2 dumps on the first turn. No card dumps on the second turn. No card dumps on the third turn. Fusions, no fusions on the first turn. No fusions on the second turn. 1 fusion on the final turn, right? If you do all that stuff on the first frame against Meadow Mage, then you will win every single time whatever card is all the way over here. You can't even see it. Hang on. You will win this card, Koragashi. So I can tell you right the fuck now, if you start a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 1, and you do all those things that we said to do in the duel, doesn't matter what cards you use, if you just do those things, you will win Koragashi every single time. Every last time. Right? So, let's scroll down, and let's see what we can find here. There's Gaia the Fierce Knight. So what if I wanted to win a Gaia the Fierce Knight? What would you have to do? Well, you still have to do those things that we said to do in the duel, right? But in order to win a Gaia the Fierce Knight, so it looks like all 3 of these frames right here. So we would have to enter a duel on 78, 79, or 80. If you enter a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 78, on frame 79, or on frame 80, and you do the things that we said to do in the duel, which again, if you forget, it's these, you know, 2 dumps on the first turn. If you do all that on these frames, you'll win the card. It's that simple. It's that simple. So, if I scroll down a little while, let's see what cards we would win, hypothetically, right? Let's see here. Ooh, look at this. Look at that, we have a Meteor B Dragon. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a Meteor B Dragon, go ahead. Yo, are you mad, bro? Stephen Krause with a $10 donation. Thank you, dude, I appreciate it. So if you enter a duel against Meadow Mage right now on your console, on your phone, if you enter a duel on frame 216, You do the things that I just showed you to do, right? You do these things. You do a duel where on the first turn you dump 2 cards. On the last turn you do a fusion. You do a quick 3D duel on the first turn, and on the second turn and on the third turn. You do quick 3D duels. If you do all that stuff, on frame 216, you will win every single time, without fail, I mean that, a Meteor B Dragon. So now you're saying, well, how do I confirm that I'm going to win the duel, right? Doing those movements is really hard to do every single time. It's impossible, right? Some duels, they play shield and I can't do anything. What the fuck do I do, right? Well, you know exactly what cards you're going to draw, don't you? So if you look at your deck and you say, well, I have twin-headed materials in slot 32, 19, and 34, right? If you wanted to win the MBD, what would you have to do? You would have to make sure that you have a good card in these slots. This is your first hand right here. So if you have a Thunder in slot 32, a Dragon in slot 39, and a Plant in slot 34, right? Well, guess what? You're going to draw twin-headed right there, aren't you? But if you don't have those in those slots, rearrange your deck. Try to get them in that slot. And if you can, well, now you have twin-headed in there, right? But then you're like, well, I don't know what card they're going to play. How do I know if twin-headed's going to be enough? You see this part right here? This is what card the enemy will play. So again, if you enter a duel against Meadow Mage on frame 216, no matter what you do, the first card Meadow Mage is going to play is going to be Empress Judge. The second card is going to be Warrior of Tradition every time on frame 216 against Meadow Mage. Every single fucking time. Every one. So, now that you have all this information, it should start clicking in your mind that you can route this stuff. You can figure out how to do this every single time, right? Now I know that if I make a twin-headed, right, I need to put it in Moon. Because if you put a twin-headed in Pluto and it's on Meadow, that Empress Judge and Uranus will kill you. So put it in Moon, right? And all you have to do is get twin-headed materials in this opening hand. So if you don't have a good card already that could beat that, then you need to fuse. But if you need to fuse, that's going to fuck up those things, right? So let's say you have a deck that can make twin-headeds. Go through it in your head. What would a perfect duel look like? A perfect duel would look like I would fuse twin-headed in turn 1. Okay. Let's fuse twin-headed in turn 1. Let's fucking fuse twin-headed in turn 1. So, in turn 1, we're fusing twin-headed, right? But that's all we're doing. We're not throwing any cards. Let's give a hypothetical perfect duel, right? It would be fusing twin-headed with 3 cards on the first hand. So let's say you did Dragon and Plant and Thunder. That's 2 fusions. Dragon and Plant, and then Black Dragon, Jungle King, and Thunder in a twin-headed. That's 2 fusions. So, you're not dumping any cards. So that goes to 0, right? So, do it turn by turn. Think of what the perfect duel is, because now that you know what you're going to draw, you can create the perfect duel, right? So, I'm not dumping anything, but I am doing 2 fusions in the opening hand. Okay? Now, the second turn happens, right? What in a perfect duel would you be doing on the second turn? Another twin-headed, right? So now you've done another twin-headed. You're not dumping any cards, but you're doing 2 fusions. Now, you should be doing quick 3D attacks. Actually, no, you don't need to do quick 3D attacks in this case. So, the reason we do 3D attacks like this, even though they take up time, is because it's kind of technical, but think of it this way. When there's a monster in attack mode and you attack it and kill it, that changes the drop differently than if you had killed a monster that's in defense. So when we're on the final 6 and they're playing cards like Metal Zoa, those cards never go into defense. They're always in offense. But sometimes they don't play Metal Zoa, right? So how do we... But those are different. If they don't play Metal Zoa and they play something in defense, well, now that duel is different than if he played Metal Zoa. And it doesn't work. So the one way to keep everything exactly the same, to keep the animation the same, because the animation's what matters. We want to keep all animations in every duel exactly the same. Animations is how the frames work in this game. When you do a fusion, it's the same animation every time. When you dump a card, it's the same animation every time. However, when you attack a monster that's already in attack mode, that animation is different than attacking a monster in defense. But when you do a 3D duel, and you cancel out of it immediately, that animation is the same whether the card was in offense or defense. So now, you have consistency, and that's exactly what you need is consistency. Right? So when I'm on the final 6, and I find 30 frames that work, well, maybe in 15 of those frames a Metal Zoa is played, and 15 frames there aren't Metal Zoas played. I don't want to make it so I have to do a certain strategy for 15 frames and do a different strategy for the other 15. I want to make everything consistent, because consistency is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick 3D duel. If it's an attack, the animation is exactly the same. And if the animation's the same, the number of frames that are going by is the same. Okay? Sweet. So, we're going to want to do that, but since we're against Metal Mage, again, and we have our twin-headeds out in our perfect duel that we're making up, since we have twin-headeds out, and in a perfect duel, he's not going to be playing anything that's going to beat that, all of his monsters are going to be in defense. Because of that, we don't need to worry about doing 3D duels. So we don't have to worry about that. So remember, we're on turn 2 now, not turn 1. This is turn 2. But you can't do any of these things. Can't be done on turn 1. They can only be done on turn 2 and on, because you can't attack on the first turn. So Guardian Stars. This you can put to whatever you want. But for the most part, it's best to put it at nothing. Right? You can't... It's much more difficult to guarantee a Guardian Star interaction than it is to guarantee you won't do one. So if you say, I'm going to guarantee I'm going to do a Guardian Star interaction on the first turn. Well, what if the first card he plays is something like, I don't know, Warrior of Tradition that's in Mercury. Twin-headed has Pluto and Moon. That doesn't interact. Your strat is dead, right? So, leave Guardian Star to 0, unless you need it later on, and I'll explain why you would need it. So next, in our perfect duel, is Enemy Destruction. How many cards that are in attack mode are you going to be killing? Well, none, because they're all going to be in defense. That's what we said over with quick and 3D attacks. So that's going to be kept none. So direct attacks. How many directed... So on the first turn that you get to attack, think of how this duel goes out. So on the first turn, twin-headed's made. On the first turn, and then you hit start, it's the AI's turn. They play a card goes to defense. Now we're on the second turn, which is this turn right here. On the second turn, you make another twin-headed. Now you have two twin-headeds out. The first twin-headed attacks the card in defense and destroys it. Now you're about to do a direct hit with twin-headed. Since that's not a low amount, that's above a certain number, which I believe is 1,000, but it might be something different. It might be like 1,500, but I believe it's 1,000. Since it's more than 1,000, that counts as a direct. So on the first turn, you're going to be doing one big direct attack. Keep that there, and you're not going to do any small. Now we go over to turn 3. So now you've done 2,800 damage, right? So his life points is at 876, 5,400, right? 5,400 or something like that. So now you're on the third turn. So we go up here. So in the perfect world, so let's go back through this again. Let's just calm down here. So first turn, twin-headed. He plays monster defense. Second turn, twin-headed. You attack that monster defense, attack directly. Third turn, he plays another card, and now you can play a card, but you need to have two twin-headed hits. So let's do another twin-headed. Let's make a third twin-headed in our perfect duel. So in our perfect duel, we need another twin-headed. So we're going to be drawing it, we know, because we're going to find a manipulation where we can draw it, right? So, we're not going to be dumping any cards. We don't have to. But let's say you can't find anything in the first 10 cards. Let's say you have to go further than that, right? And you have to dump cards in order to get to the twin-headed materials in the duel that you find. Well, then you could just bump this dump number up to whatever you have to do, right? But in our perfect duel, there is no dumps. Now, we're making another twin-headed, are we not? So, since we're making another twin-headed, that's another 2 fusions, right? So it'd be like that. So now, remember, this is the 3rd turn, not the actual 2nd turn. Because, again, can't attack on the 1st turn. So how many 3D duels are we going to do on the last turn? None. We don't need to do any because all of his monsters are going into defense, and we don't need the animation. The animation is always going to be destroying a defense monster. It's never going to be destroying an attack monster because he doesn't play anything 3k up, and we're never giving him the chance to attack, to leave a monster in attack mode. Every single time he attacks, or every single time he has his turn, that card is going right into defense, which means we're always killing a defense monster. If that was different, we'd have to fuck with this, but we don't. Next is Guardian Stars. Again, much easier to have no Guardian Star interactions than it is to have one. Keep that at 0. In our perfect duel, in our mind, right? Perfect duel is twin-headed, 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 dead, 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 gone, right? That's our perfect duel. We want to find a frame where doing this perfect duel gives us a Meteor B Dragon. That's what we want, right? I will do this for you right now. I will go through the entire fucking process, and I will find a frame. I'm not going to do the frame, but I will find the frame, and I'll show you how to calibrate the timer. So, enemy destruction. We're not destroying any monsters, so again, we don't need that. Direct hits. So, we now have 3 twin-headeds out, and he has 1 card in defense. So we're going to use one of those twin-headeds to kill that defense card, and then we're going to do direct attack with twin-headed, direct attack with twin-headed, right? That's 2 direct attacks that are a relatively large attack, which means 2 is going to be there. And on the last turn, we're not doing any small attacks. So now, this right here represents our perfect duel, where we draw twin-headed on turn 1, we draw twin-headed on turn 2, we draw twin-headed on turn 3, we have control for the entire duel, and we win on turn number 3. Let's say you want to make it so you have 4 turns to wiggle around in. You'd have to change that to 4, and then you would have to do comma, space, and then a number for all of these, right? But we're going to do 3. Let's say you didn't want Meadow Mage. Let's say you wanted Mountain Mage. Literally just type in that name. That's all you got to do. So, now the question comes, how are you going to do this fight? Is it going to be in free duel, or is it going to be in campaign, right? Obviously, that's going to change what the first possible... We have to figure out what the first possible frame is, right? Because remember, when we start the game up, it starts counting frames at the white Konami screen, right? So, you can't start a duel when you're at the white Konami screen. You have to start the duel later than that. But what frame? There we go. I can see now. But what frame is that at? Well, there's no definitive answer, and you need to find that out for yourself. But the way that you do that is, first, like I said, you need to figure out whether you want to do it in campaign or if you want to do it in free duel, right? It's much easier to do this in free duel. By the way, I'm not looking at my chat because I do plan on cutting this up in Sony Vegas and making it as a YouTube video, because this is extremely in-depth and I'm never going to want to do this again. I'm just going to want to link this video out to people. So, back to it. So, I recommend doing it in free duel. Unlock them in campaign first. Beat them in campaign. Now they're in free duel. Save the game. You're there. You're good to go. So now all you have to do is run the script. Typically what I do is 1 to 3,000. So what this is going to do is it's going to say, okay, if I started a duel against Meadow Mage, and I did all these things, doesn't matter what cards you necessarily use, as long as the duel stats match these, you're fine. You know, it doesn't even have to necessarily be twin-headed. If you can match these stats using whatever card you want, go for it, right? All you have to do is make sure that on turn 1 you're doing this, on turn 2 you're doing this, right? and you don't go outside of those bounds. If you stay within these, you're fine. And what this script tells you will be relevant. But if you do something different, if you do a single thing different than what this says, what the script tells you, the spreadsheet that this script creates, is no longer relevant to you, right? So, back to finding the first frame. So, run it from 1, the first frame, to 3,000. 3,000 is whatever 3,000 divided by 60 is. Because remember, this game runs at 60 frames per second. So, every second that this game is on, except for in loading screens, and except for within duels, right? That's another thing. When you're inside of a duel, when you're in a duel, the frame count no longer moves up with time. So when you're outside of a duel, right? When you're on, I don't know, this screen that I'm on right now, every second that goes by, that frame count's going up by 60, 60, 60, 60. And I'm just going to put a quick disclaimer here. It's not technically a frame count. It's technically a seed number. That's why it said number of seeds in the thing. It's technically a seed number, but the seed number goes up just like frames do. So it's easier to say frames because it's easier, but it's technically a seed number. Okay, all right, great. So if we run the script, right? So we're going to save it. And I'm going to run it. So I'm going to go ahead and poop off of that. And I'm going to, so here's the thing. I'm going to run it. That's what it's called. You don't need all these files. A lot of the Excel files in here, most of them are not needed because I'm actually, those are just old ones that I made when I was doing research. But they're not needed. Everything else you need, all these database files you need, link will be in description. So I right click, or I just run it actually, just double click it, and then this comes up. And if you did it right, it's just gonna do this for a couple seconds. So you wait. If you tell it to do 3,000 duels, and you double click on that, and it instantly goes away just like fucking that, then you've done something wrong. So what that actually did is it generated a file here. Right here. Where is it? There should be a file here. Yeah, there's the file here. So it's I want to say it's the one right behind me actually. Should be Meadow Manipulation Raw, this one right here. No, this one actually goes to 5. Oh, I had it open, that's why. So that's another thing. If you do this, you have to make sure that it's not open if you don't have a file of the same name open. So actually, really quick, if you look at this, I'm actually just going to make this full screen now so you guys can just see better. Okay, so if you look here, and you go all the way down, this is where it's naming it. So I'll just make this easier for you guys to see. This is where it's actually naming it. So you can change this to be whatever you want. This right here. So it's going to take the opponent name, so Meadow Mage for our case, and then Manipulation Raw. Let's say I want it to be Manipulation Raw YouTube, because this is a YouTube tutorial, right? Then I could do that. I can save it. I'm going to get out of it. And now I'm going to actually run it. And you're going to see it create a new file called Meadow Mage Manipulation Raw YouTube. It'll be right under this one. There it is. So, now that that's made, I'm going to look at my chat. You can do this without twin-headed. Yes, you can absolutely do this without twin-headed. But remember, you need to be doing fusions. So as long as you follow the instructions that you wrote into this program, you're good to go. Doesn't matter what cards you use, as long as you're doing it. As long as you're doing those things, you're good to go. So here's Meadow Mage Manipulation Raw YouTube. We just generated this. Did we not? We did. Great. So, as you can see, there's 3,000, just like we told it to. Look at that. All the way to 3,000, right there. So, now what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the game, right? You're going to go back to the game, and you're going to, let's say you're doing this in free duel. So let's say I did it with high shim, right? So I have a save. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a save to where you're ready to go into the duel, right? You're ready. Actually, no, back up. Before that, save the game, right? Say, okay, I'm ready to go into the duel and see how this looks, right? Next, what you want to do is you want to go into this screen. So hang on a second. Go into the build deck screen. So let's say I just saved, right? And I'm doing this manipulation. I just have to get cards in here so it doesn't bother me again. So I just saved. I did not edit my deck. Don't edit the deck now. Keep the deck the same as the save file that you just made. Scroll over once, right? Keep it on numerical so you don't have to do anything. And write down somewhere in a notepad file or somewhere. Write down the order of your deck. So say I have a basic insect in slot 1. I have a basic insect in slot 2. In slot 3, I have one. In slot 11, I have a hard armor. In slot 27, I have a Cyberstein. Write this down. Right? It's going to come in handy. So, we have that written down, hypothetically, right? So now you're going to save. We already saved, so you should be good. Reset the console. What your goal is right now is to get into a duel against Meadow Mage or whoever you're manipulating. Get into a duel with them as quickly as possible, right? The name of the game here is consistency. You want to be able to consistently do this. So if you fuck around on the menus, unless you know you can recreate it every time, don't do it, right? So the easiest way to do that is just to move quickly as you can. So memorize the inputs, just like I'm doing to go into high shin. Just memorize exactly what you have to do and when. Go into high shin. Doesn't have to be as fast as me. You don't have to scroll over, by the way. Don't scroll over like I did. Just mash. Oh, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a draw, right? Go back to that sheet that you wrote down that has your deck order in it, and find out what cards are where. So let's say I wrote in my thing. What I would do is I would go to that notepad file I made and I would look for Haniwa, and I'd say, okay, Haniwa is slot, I don't know, 60 or slot 30, right? Haniwa slot 30. Okay, so I would write down 30. Enter. Next line. Basic insect, slot 17. Next line, right? And I would do this for the first full hand, right? And then once you have the first full hand written down, do this. Throw every card. Now next, you want to write down what card he plays, or she, depending on who you're doing. So I would now write down, okay, Skull Knight. So now what I have written down in this file is I have these numbers. I have basic insect was drawn first, which is in card slot 10. So I'd have like 10, 17, 22, 5, and 8. I'd have all that written down, and then I'd have Skull Knight written down. Now we have another hand. Do the same thing you did for the first. Write it all down, find out what slots they are. So at this point, I would keep the duel open, right? Just in case you need more. But typically, this is enough. Now you know what the first 10 cards in your deck were, based on the slot that they were in, and you know what the enemy played. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go over here. I think the smart people among those who are very intelligent and watching this probably know where I'm going with this. What you're going to do now is you are going to look through the spreadsheet and you are going to try to find out what frame you're on. Right? So if you wrote down, let's say you wrote down 7, 20, 23, 31, and 28. So you would look for that, and then you would find this. And you would say, hey, that looks like mine. So you'd find the first 5, maybe even the first 10, and then you'd look over here, and you'd say, oh, he played a Millennium Shield, that's what I wrote down. Or he played a Skull Knight in my case, that's what I wrote down. Then you know for a fact that you are on frame 72. That's how you figure out what frame you are. And because you went as quickly as possible, remember how I said go as fast as you can, right? All you have to do is go as quickly as you can into the duel. But it doesn't have to be as quick as possible, right? It just has to be as quickly as you feel comfortable going into the duel. Something that you know you can do consistently. So for me, let's say it was 72, right? By the way, an easy way to sort this, if you guys want to... So this is hard to look through, right? It's really hard to look through and find things because none of these numbers are in order. Only these are. The best way to do this, guys, is you want to sort by B through P. So what I mean by that is select all the data like that. Go to data. And go to, what was it? Maybe it wasn't data. What was it? 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 Data and then sort. So now what you want to do is you don't want to sort by A. You want to sort by B, and then C, and then D, and then E, and then you want to do all that up to P. So sort by B, remember B, smallest to largest, and then add another level. And then C, and then D. Now, that's kind of tedious to do in Excel. So what I've been doing, and this is, you guys will like this, you don't have to have Excel now. Instead of doing that, go over to here, and go into a Google spreadsheet instead. I'm going to add a new sheet, right? So now I'm in a Google spreadsheet instead. So go to Google Spreadsheets and import the file. So upload, and then you're going to import it here. So mine was on the desktop. In FM stuff, I have it. And then Meadow Mage Manipulation Raw YouTube. So do that. Let it upload, and then I usually just append to current sheet. Make sure it's a blank sheet, then hit import data. So by doing this, you have a very easy way of looking at it without having to open up Excel or even have Excel, right? And I think it's easier to work within here anyway. It's much easier to work. So now, do the same thing. Select all the data. Go to, I believe it's data. Yeah, do data, and then do sort range. Now, all you have to do is select sort by B instead of A. And remember, B through P. That's what we want. So B, and then C, and then D, and it does it automatically. So you just go to P. So A, B, C, D. So B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Then you hit sort. Now look at this. Now these aren't sorted, the frame numbers, but that's fine. So let's say the first card you had was 7. Now all you have to do is go over to 7. So here's all the 7s that are in the beginning. Now the next line is in order. So my next card was 24. Okay, so now I know I'm within this many. So what was your next card? It was 12. Okay, now I know I'm within this many, right? My next card was 17. Okay, now you know you're within this many. Now you're going to start to see a lot of them are the same. My next card was 11. There's 11. Now my next card was 8. Now you're within 2. And an easy way to do it from here is to just highlight these two. Don't move them. Highlight them. So hold in control and just highlight the entire row. And then you can look over here and see what they played. So my draw was completely the same up to here. But Meadow Mage played Millennium Shield first turn. That means that I have to be on this frame. Now you know that the very first frame you can enter on is frame 1610. Now remember, what I'm doing here is just an example. These numbers are completely wrong, right? They're completely wrong. I'm making stuff up, but this is what you would do. Now you know what the first possible frame you, not me, but you can enter Meadow Mage on. That's what you need to know. You know the first possible frame you can enter Meadow Mage on consistently. That's a great thing. Now that we know that, what are we going to do? Now that we know that, we're going to go back here to our campaign_manip campaign router.python. You need Python 3 installed, by the way, but I'll talk about that at some other point. So yeah, you're going to edit that. and we're gonna go back up to here. So instead of starting at 1, what was our thing again? 1610, right? So since 1610 is the first possible frame we can enter the duel on, we don't really care about anything below that now, do we? No, we don't. So let's go to 1610. Let's start there instead of at 1, and now it's going to count from 3,000 seeds above 1610. So now we cut out 1,610 frames of garbage, and we know that every frame that we see within this next spreadsheet is something that we can actually get to, right? Cool. Save. Let's rerun it, right? Re-import it, do all that stuff. I've done that 100 times in here for other people when I was actually creating the route for some of the speedrun parts of the game, right? But let's just say I did it and this is what it looks like, right? Hypothetically. So now, I know that I can get to all these frames. All these are obtainable by me. So, now what you're gonna do is, this is the harder part. You need to find a way, or a frame or something. You need to find a frame or a couple frames that make it so, first, I would say the first thing to do is to go over here and look at the drops, right? Look at the drops. What you want to try to do is you want to try to find the drop that you want, but multiple times within a frame. So what I mean by that is, like, if I wanted to win White Dolphin, look at that. That's a bunch of frame, or actually, we're not sorted by frame, so make sure you're actually sorted by the frame numbers now. When you're doing this. So if I sorted by here. So now let's look. So look at Dark Magician right here. This tells me that that's 5 frames in a row that all win a Dark Magician. So do that and find a range for the card that you want to win, right? So this is the range if I want to win a Dark Magician. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what cards I draw. Typically, what happens is you want to look for cards that are the same. So when you're looking through, look through your first hand first. So card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, card 5. So what number between these repeats a lot? Let's see here. So in all of these, it doesn't look like there's any consistent number in all of these, but half of them, right, have 10. Half of them have 4. Half of them have 11, right? Half of them have 13. They look kind of similar, don't they? So what are you going to do now? You need to have that perfect duel where we do the twin-headeds, right? So what do you have to do? You have to make sure when you go back to your deck that you have a twin-headed material in, it looks like 11, 10, 13, 3, 35 is what you would want. Or 4, 36, 9, 26, and 6, right? But if you want 3 frames, then you could do this one, and this one. So now let's say you're aiming for these frames. Ooh, shit. This one, and this one. You're aiming for these frames now. So now you need to go back to the game, and you need to try your best to get a twin-headed material in slot 11, in slot 10, 13, 3, or 35. Like, it doesn't matter necessarily how many of the first 5 are twin-headed, as long as you can make a twin-headed. What you need to make sure now is that you can make a twin-headed on turns 1, which is the first 5, right? And then 2, which is whatever cards you use. So if you need to use 3 cards, right, which is what we account for, let's say you use the first 3 cards. So now 11, 10, and 13 are gone, which means the next hand is going to include what? Well, we already had 3 and 35 in the first hand, and now we're drawing 3 cards. So 16, 26, and 9 come into play. Pretty much what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're drawing your card, you're doing what you need to do, right? It doesn't matter whether it's twin-headed, it's summoned skull. You need to try your best to find something, to find a frame where you win the card that you want, and you can set it up so that you win. And you win with this, right? Okay, so let's say you really can't find, let's say you already have an MBD or something, then use that to your advantage. Get it in slot 13, get it in slot 35. Now you're drawing that every time. Go through a duel that seems like you could do it over again. Put the stats into here, right? And then find something, you know what I mean? So now you want to try to get a twin-headed in you know, these cards so that you can reproduce this. You want to reproduce this. The bottom line is this. You know what you need to do, right? Now you know exactly what you need to do, which is this. You have to do this. And you know exactly what cards you're going to draw and what cards the enemy is going to play. So when you know all of that, you need to sort your deck. You need to put your deck together in a certain way so that this happens. Now, once you do that, let's say you now have your deck put together so that all of these things are possible. You can do it. You're like, GFC, if I drew this hand right now, if I played out this duel right now, or this duel or this duel, if I played out this duel right now, I am confident, I will 100%. It's not confidence, it's you know, it's not luck. If you hit one of these frames, you need to be sure that when that duel happens, you're doing this every time. So make sure your deck is sorted. Once you have your deck sorted, now all you need to do is hit this frame. So now you're going to say, well, how do I hit the frame? Well, remember that number that we put in here? The first possible frame that you can enter the duel on? You remember that? Well, how far away are we from that? We're obviously going to be ahead of it, right? We're going to be, it's going to be bigger than that. So let's say it's like over here, right? Let's say I found like 5 frames over here that do what I need them to do. So now you're over here. So the first frame that you can enter the duel on is 1610. That's moving as quickly as you can, right? Because that's what you did. So you move as quickly as you can and you hit frame 1610. But you don't want 1610. Now you want to hit somewhere between 2119 and 2124. Or to make it easier, I'll actually just add one there. And we'll say the middle of that is this one. So now you want to hit the middle, right? You want to hit the middle, obviously, because then if you're early, you get it. You're late, you get it. You head on, you get it. It's great. So what you're going to do is you now want to calibrate a timer to try to hit 2122. And you know by your testing that the first frame you can enter on is 1610. So in a calculator, you now know. So if you were to reset the console right now and you were to go as quickly as possible into a duel, you would be on frame 1610, right? But you want to hit frame 2122. So that means 2122 minus 1610. That means that you need to make 512 frames pass. So remember, if I move as fast as I can, I'm on 1610. But I want to hit 2122. So 512 frames need to go by. So how are you going to do that? Well, right before the duel, remember, it's counting. Every second, 60 of these go away. So right before the duel starts, right before you hit that last circle button to start the duel, instead of hitting it immediately, which would give you 1610, what if we waited 1 second? What if we waited 2 seconds? What if we waited 3 seconds? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 seconds. 8.5 seconds. So now you know that there's 8 seconds that you need to wait, and then you have 32 frames left. So, if I was doing this in my little timer, which I'm going to link below, That is 8.533 seconds, right? That is 8.533 seconds that you need to waste in order to get there. So now keep in mind, this is already including loading screens, because you did the human test, not the hypothetical test. If we just said hypothetically what the quickest way you could get into Meadow Mage is, that's not including load times, right? But you did it, right? So that's already done. We don't even need to worry about loads. Loads are fucked. Fuck loads, right? Unless it's my fucking load. Hell yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to edit that out. Age restricted. No, I'm joking. Anyways, so now you're gonna open up Eon Timer, which is a timer I use in order to hit manipulations like this. So now we know we want 8.533 seconds. This program takes things in milliseconds. So if it's 8.533 seconds times 1,000, that means that we want to enter in 8.533. Now, look at that. You have a timer that is going to count down. This is the amount of time you have to wait. So now, what you want to do is you want to reset the console. You want to try to move into Meadow Mage as quickly as you can, but right before the duel starts, right? Right when you would normally enter the duel, if you wanted to go as fast as you can and hit 1610, instead of entering the duel, hit start. And now you're waiting. And the second that hits 0, the moment that hits 0, enter the duel. And if done correctly, you're gonna hit this. Now let's say you're really far off, and you're like, I don't know why. Well, if you're really far off, look at what frame you did hit, right? Do the thing that I said earlier. Look through the spreadsheet, find out what frame you were on, and calibrate your timer if needed. Let's say you keep doing this, but you're constantly 100 frames too late. Well, then remove 100 frames from this, my motherfuck. Remove 100 frames. That's all you gotta do. 60 frames per second, or it's 100 frames. 60 are going by every second. That means if you're 100 frames late, remove that many. Done. Now you're good. Now you're set. Now, you've done everything up to this point. You are now in a duel. And it is one of these. You get the opening hand that you know that you need. Now, all you have to do is follow the instructions. That's it. You are now in a duel on the correct frame, on the correct duelist, with the correct deck. All you have to do now is do the duel that we created in our head. So you already know what cards you're going to draw. You already have your deck set, so you're going to draw the right cards at the right time. So do the duel that you planned. Do the duel that you planned out. Twin-headed first turn. Twin-headed second turn. Twin-headed third turn. You win. Guess what card? You're going to win. Whatever's over here. That's what you're going to win. If that was Meteor B Dragon, congrats. You just won an MBD. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do RNG manipulation in order to win whatever card you want in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. I'm going to have links to everything in the description. Everything that I talked about will be linked. What do you need in order to do this? Well, Google Spreadsheets is absolutely free. You just have to have a Google account, which is free to make. I recommend that. If you want to use Excel, you can use Excel too. I showed you how to do it in Excel. Remember, if you want to do that sorting method, just select everything, do the sort, start at B, add level. You have to hit add level and do that manually every time, but it works, right? I prefer this though. Much easier, right? Awesome. That's all you need to do, guys. Let's see, what else should I let you guys know about? Okay, so this was made by a guy called Generic Mad Scientist. The files that you need will be in the description, but just keep in mind you must have Python 3 installed. So just Google Python 3, right? Not the porn that I starred in, not that Python 3. I'm talking the programming language, Python 3. Download that, install it, and you should be good to go. These will run. Again, the one that you want to manipulate is campaign manip router, right? You're going to right click. You can edit it in Notepad. I prefer Notepad++. That's where you get this. Now, for opponent names, you need to do exactly the name that shows up in the game. So if you're kind of wondering, you know, what name do I put here? Scroll over their name in Free Duel. Whatever's there, put here. That's what this is going to take. Because remember, this hooks directly into the game. Another thing to keep in mind is, let's say hypothetically, in this whole thing, you look through all 3,000, and let's say none of, you can't find anything that's human doable, right? You can only find a frame here, or a frame there. You can't find more than one, you can't find a couple frames in a row to make it easy to do, right? By the way, you can do this with one frame. It's just going to be a lot more difficult to hit it. But if you're only trying to win a card one time, I don't see any reason why you couldn't do it. It's just going to take a bunch of attempts to hit it. But if you want to hit something consistently, like over and over again, then try to get something more than one, right? Try to get more than one. Let's say you go through all 3,000 and there's nothing good there. You can't find anything that you can work with. Well, fuck it. I didn't like the first 3,000. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to start at 3,000 now, and we're going to go to the second 3,000. Just remember to write down the number that was there. Remember that 1610? That was the fastest. The first frame I could enter Meadow Mage on, or whoever on, moving as quickly as I can. That number is extremely important. Make sure you keep that. You get it framed. You put the frame up your asshole so you can shit it out at any point, right? That's what you need. All right. Other than that, guys, I'm pretty sure that's everything that you need to do this. So, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. This will work on any card that is able to be won in the game, right? So, if it's a card that can drop, if it's a card that you can play a duel, win the duel, and get a card at the end of the duel, if it's a card that's possible to show up there, you can do this for it. Absolutely. You can absolutely do this for it. So, I can already see the comments now. Can you do this to win Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon? Can you do this to win Gate Guardian? Can you do this to win Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth? The answer is no. You cannot do it to win those cards. Because you cannot win those cards, right? You cannot win a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. You can only ritual summon it. This doesn't work for that. You can do it to win Blue Eyes White Dragon against Seto Third, and you could do it to win the ritual card from Seto Third if you really wanted to do that. And then you can make it that way, but you can't do it with the card. It has to be a card that you can win. That's what it is. Guys, that's all I got. Say goodbye, chat. Say goodbye, chat. I don't think my chat's gonna say goodbye. Poop. Come on, chat, say goodbye. I'm zooming in on you, chat. I believe in you. Chat, so many people are about to see this video. Are you going to say goodbye to them? Are you going to say goodbye to them? Bye. Alright, you said goodbye. Take care, everybody. I'm GFC again. Please remember to like this video. Fucking like it. Fucking subscribe. Please. It really helps me out. Please. You can do it right now. I'll wait. Okay, you've done it? Sweet. Okay, now you're gonna have to, what did I say? I said to like and subscribe? Yeah, now you're gonna have to share the video. Go to the motherfucking group chat, put this shit in there, be like, yo, BRBR, I'm from Brazil or whatever the fuck. And guys, look. I can win any card I want now. You guys like the clickbait title? I do. I do. There's gonna be some good clickbait in that title. I'm probably gonna edit this video, actually, because I care about it a little bit. Alright. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you next time. Okay. So that's where I'm going to end the YouTube video, by the way. And that's where I'm going to end my stream. What I'm actually going to do to anybody who watched that is I'm going to download the video from YouTube right now, and I'm actually going to edit it a little bit so that like there's not that much filler and it's kind of just useful information. So don't worry, I'm going to edit this video so that it's just more condensed, good information, and then I'm going to re-upload it with a super clickbaity title like Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, win any card you want! Or something like that. Because then, GFC gets the views. And you know what happened when GFC get the views? Oh, ho, ho, ho. He get the money. Oh, shit. You know, it's funny, I never, until this point, actually described RNG manipulation like that and gave a tutorial on it. So, you guys have seen the first full-out video tutorial on how to do RNG manipulation. So be happy. Alright, I'm done. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for making my birthday awesome. Thank you so much for making it my birthday be the day I get 1,000 subs. That's a huge milestone to hit. It's not that big, but it is a big milestone. It's not big in size, but it's big in meaning. So thank you very much. You guys made this birthday awesome. I look forward to editing this video now and just getting it up here as quickly as possible for you guys, because you guys deserve it. Alright, that's it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, what game won, by the way? What game won? I was going to stream again, but way too much time has gone by. Game number 3 won. What was game number 3? New Kirby game, really? You guys want to see that? Okay, new Kirby game tomorrow, I guess. See you guys. Bye-bye.